Yeah, I thought he was dead by now. Can we go home, please?
His back is still... Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Get over it, Jesus. Take some fucking pills or something.
Where's my doctor? My spine is in bits. Hello, welcome to episode 1 of Guzzling on Gosling. I'm Aidan Ralph.
Joel.
Michael Ormond.
And I am Ken.
So, since Preacher's finished, we're changing the
Do you want to give the
podcast. It's going to
actual
be
episode
a
number?
completely... What are you talking about?
He's getting there.
Why are you laughing?
Oh, he's getting
there. Real talk. Okay, so it's episode 86
There
of
you
Preachin
go.
and Preacher at the movies. This week we're going to be talking about Blade Runner 2049, which, as far as I know, is the first sequel we've talked about. Where we previously talked about Blade Runner about 2 years ago, I think.
Must be. It was
Um,
It's one of the first films they did, yeah.
Yeah, and it was Joe's idea, which was a very good idea. I got to say, Joe, to A, do a sequel, and B, have a question of the week where we're going to talk about the best and worst sequels of all time, which is going to be our question in part 2. So, gentlemen, first things first, how was your week?
Grant?
Okay. Mick?
Nick?
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
It's all right.
Yeah.
That's the quickest we've ever gone. I've also had a good week. It's been very busy, and then
At all.
it was very busy in work. Today was not so busy, and I got to leave at like 3:30, which was great.
Fucking abandoned me in the office.
Oh, yeah,
I get
how
a
did you...
phone call at 3:30. It's like, I'm off. What's the earliest you can get off work? I'm like 5:30. It's like, well, see you.
Did it take you long to get home? Like with the weather and stuff?
Shockingly,
3 hours.
20 minutes, not even 20 minutes later, like 10 minutes later, I get an email from concierge downstairs. That's what they call themselves.
Oh, for us, like.
That's what they call
The
themselves.
fancy receptionists.
Yeah.
Damn Frenchies. Cheesy surrender.
So
Jesus, freedom
The-
fries me whole.
a tree has fallen on the power lines on the Lewis, and they're running only to Ballally, which would mean to get to the city centre I'd have to walk from Dundrum.
Oh.
I knew that already, by the way, because Kira said in work that it was only going to Ballali. I didn't know that it was
So
about
you
though.
fucked off from work early and didn't even tell him he couldn't get home properly.
See, I don't know the Lewis. I don't know that was on his route.
Did
honestly.
you knock the tree down?
Riding on the Lewis, getting abuse off a truck dealer, tries to sell a pair of shoes. Down by the spire, I'm kicking a tire. There's a homeless kid trying to set me pants on fire.
Anyway.
Me ma rings me up, I'll be home in a jiffy. There's a guy throwing poo into the liffey.
Please don't keep going.
Anyway.
Oh, that's so good. That's
So-
fantastic.
Yeah.
The business park run a free bus, and they put an extra one on, and it was like the zombie apocalypse trying to get on that fucking thing, 'cause everybody slowly... I got on one,
Please,
so it
just
was
take
fine.
my kids.
Yeah.
Just leave me.
You're
was fine.
fucking your bag out of the way just to get on the fucking Lewis, just
Yeah.
to make room.
Once I got into town, it was grand.
No personal items. Leave your backpacks here.
They're standing on the Lewis in your jocks.
Like Aiden playing Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, fantastic.
But no, other than that, it was grand.
So it didn't take you too long to get home, did it?
Hmm?
It didn't take you too long to get home.
No, left work at 5:05, got home at 10 to 7.
That's not... Yeah,
On the
That's not great.
windiest day of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them all on
In
his
better
own.
news, iOS 12 came out.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
What's it like? iOS 12.
iOS 12. It's exactly like iOS 11.
Of course it is. It's an Apple
With
product.
a hell of a lot of bugs.
I haven't seen any.
There's been like 4 reported so far.
I'm sure there's way more than that.
Fantastic.
Reported.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it was released today, was it?
No.
2 days ago?
Yeah, Monday.
Oh, okay. What day is the thing? Oh, I give it till tomorrow, maybe
Till
afternoon,
tomorrow.
and then they'll all be in wondering what the hell's going on.
No, it's been
Fair
fine
enough.
for me so far.
Yes.
I know it's something Android's had for a while, but they've added group notifications to...
Boring.
Shut up. They added group notifications, so like previously if I got 6 notifications from
Oh, you
Twitch
said
like I
this,
did
yeah.
there, it would be 6 individual notifications. Now they're in one thing that says the top one plus 5 more notifications.
That's
Welcome
good.
to 4 years ago.
Well, Samsung's been doing that already, have they?
Oh,
I remember
Android have
what.
been doing it for
That's
ages.
like on
Yeah.
the S4, that type of shit came
It's
out.
not even a phone thing. It's an
That's in the
operating
90s.
system
Yeah,
thing.
it's an operating
That's in the
system.
90s, fam.
Yeah.
I remember 2012. It was there. Like,
Mhm.
Oh, that takes me back.
How's your
that's
exploded
amazing.
phone working for you?
They got rid of that. How's your expanding batteries and your bendy phones working for you?
Just straight in there with absolute.
Oh,
hate.
Like,
I'm sorry, do you know-
Curved, it's fine.
do you know-
Curved is the new
Yeah, do you
style.
know, I actually can't say shit
Yeah, 'cause
because
you're
on
actually becoming an Apple
on Monday
engineer.
I'm actually going to
Become-
train for an Apple technician's job. So
Yeah.
I
Oh,
can't
really?
say shit.
Gosh.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny.
Well,
Like
I can say it up until Sunday.
I remember
And then
actually.
after that, I have to keep my
I
mouth
remember
shut.
when the Samsung exploding battery thing came out, I was like, oh, finally, this is going to take the heat off Apple for 5 minutes, because I'm just so sick of hearing, or at the time was, just so sick of hearing people abusing Apple, but now I'm ready to fucking change the Samsung, so.
Well, I literally didn't think when they were coming out with the, what was it, the Note 7, was it at the time?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think their tagline would go through as much as it was. Like, they came out and said this phone would be the bomb. And it's, you know, they were true to their word.
They were
You
absolutely
know,
correct.
they still don't let those models on planes. You ever see
No,
it? It's like you
yeah.
can't
Really?
even do it. Like, yeah, some of the things are really funny about it.
If they to transport them, it has to be done by sea.
I'll give it to Samsung one thing. The only reported case, there was less than 10 reported cases of danger, like ones that actually did explode.
Danger.
What?
They
Danger.
returned like 2 million of them.
Oh, yeah, that affected
us as well,
by the way.
Like
I had
a
to.
ridiculous amount.
But it was because of an inherent design flaw.
It was the first time they shopped out their
Yeah.
I
remember
the heat
reading it,
indicator.
yeah.
It's like the heat indicator. They usually did it in house. This is
Mhm.
the first time they shopped out to a new company, and
Yeah.
it was also the last time they will ever shop out
Yeah.
parts for a different company.
I'm not surprised.
So they make everything in house now,
Yeah.
I
like the iPhone.
you mean they make the iPhone screens?
Everything but the screens.
Is it? Oh no, well,
It's pretty much the hardware, and except the chip.
The only thing Apple
chip.
make in their phones is their software.
yeah. Well, they're moving that now. They're developing internal chip facilities
Ooh.
to move away from external
Oh,
providers.
what? So you just got that idea off GoPro from 3 years ago?
What?
Oh dear.
This is
I don't.
spiraling.
In fairness, I don't understand the whole evangelism thing. Like, I enjoyed. I'm not going to get in a diatribe. I enjoyed the Apple product stuff because, well, one, it's part of my job, so having an understanding of it helps me do my job. But also, as much as the openness of Android is great for people who want to mod their phones or mess around
Yeah.
with it, for someone like me who just wants kind of all the stuff to talk to itself, like to each other,
Yeah.
that closed ecosystem is grand for
Exactly,
me.
like
because
the iPhone that's sitting in front of you, the Mac that's sitting in front of you, the iPad that's sitting beside you, and the
the
Crapple
Apple
pen
TV
that's
that's in there.
yeah, the Crapple pen in your hands. It's more than likely an Apple mic in your. You have Apple
No, they don't make
earphones in.
He's an Apple penis at this stage, I think, as well.
Yeah, well, it's always been like Apple. It's fucking huge.
He has an Apple logo tattooed right in the
I
head
was
of his
going to
dick.
say
Yeah.
he needs to get an Apple
I
tattoo.
How does he
I
have the leaf?
contemplated one.
Or do you know what you get? Get like a little the dongle.
No,
Like,
if
get
I
a dongle on your arm.
The earphone,
If I
to
was-
the
earphone
dongle.
dongle.
if I was gonna get an Apple related tattoo, it would be the Swift logo.
The what? Oh,
So
the little
their programming language is called Swift,
okay.
but the logo's just like a little bird. So I'd get that rather than.
So you're getting a
Like
Twitter,
Twitter?
logo.
Doesn't look like the Twitter logo.
Do Apple have any original ideas?
Yeah.
Well, such
Well,
as?
let's say it this way: you
The
wouldn't have the
bezel.
smartphone
Apple,
without
yeah.
Apple.
And they
Right.
In
okay.
fairness, you wouldn't.
they kind of
the
invented
first
the
smartphone.
modern home computer.
Yeah.
Also
Right.
true.
Okay, well then,
Also
so,
true.
Macintosh.
so they're not all bad.
No, not all
Just
bad.
mostly.
Do you know what? My only comment, and I think we'll finish on that
Yeah,
before
exactly.
it gets too heated.
Yeah.
I have always said I think Apple make absolutely beautiful, elegant products. Easy, simple,
Mhm.
great, great to use. But God fucking Christ,
The price.
They have not done anything real different to me in the last couple of years. I just want them to do more.
But you say that, but
I want more.
everyone slagged them about the whole notch design.
Yeah.
Hate that
And now
thing.
you're getting Android, like you're getting a whole load of Android phones now that are building the notch in.
Only Huawei.
Which
I've seen
notch?
Huawei.
So the iPhone,
Where's the notch?
no, I'm saying now you're getting a whole load now.
Samsung
the iPhone,
wouldn't touch
the
that.
iPhone
I'll
10
be honest.
Yeah.
has a like an edge-to-edge full screen display, but to house the camera, there's like a little notch in the top that's not screen.
All right. Okay.
I remember
Disgraceful
there
idea.
was a Samsung ad specifically that was
Yeah.
taking aim at them, where a guy in the queue for the Apple store had a haircut that looked like the notch.
Oh Jesus.
But there's a whole lot of
Oh,
phone now. I'll probably be wrong. I was going to say one of the Google phones. I don't think one of the Google phones does it. There's a whole load of Android phones coming out now that have the notch in, even though it's unnecessary.
Is it the Huawei phones?
Huawei do it.
It's
Yeah.
the P90 or something, P something Pro.
It's the P20 and the P20 Lite, isn't it?
Was it? I think it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
So in saying that, we have one of those in work because we need one to like test the app on, and I really like that phone.
Okay.
I think it's really nice to use.
Which
And-
one? The iPhone 10 or
Yeah. And the notches actually provide a user interface thing because if you swipe down from each notch, it does something different.
Oh, okay.
So it gives that
So
visual
like on a
hint.
Huawei phone, when you swipe down from the left, it gives you one menu. When you swipe down from the right, it gives you a different menu.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've never used a Huawei phone, so
All right, because they had that a few years ago.
Well, anyway, the point is, right, tonight we're preaching on Preacher at the movies.
We
Next
are.
week,
Next week.
join us for bitching on Apple. Yeah?
No, that's
No,
Sunday's
no.
We can just
Sunday-
do Tech
oh.
Tuesdays.
Sunday's podcast, yeah.
Tech Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We just said we do a Tech Tuesday.
Tech Tuesdays,
Anyway.
bitching on Apple. That's next week. Anyway.
Anyway,
Preaching
Blade
on
Runner.
clocks.
Yeah.
iOS 12. Great. I would give
2049.
4 hair stars.
Oh
Ken?
shit! I'm gonna have to come up with something now. Oh,
I still
No,
think we
have-
should go for
have the
hair
list.
stars, man.
We have the list.
What?
We don't need...
yeah.
I still think
Wait,
it's-
don't-
No, that's for Preacher. We
Oh,
saved that for Preacher.
but
Aiden,
it's such a good idea.
Give people a recap of what we do with the films, for in case people are new.
We watch them and then we talk about them.
And what do we do
Sorry,
after
so
that?
we talk about the movies, and then after we add them to a list and we rank them in order of all the other films we've watched so far. How many films have we got so far, Mick?
51.
51. So this
51.
is
Shit.
This
film
is-
number 52.
This makes
Wait, a year of...
a year of film, yeah.
Holy shit.
It only took us 2 years. That's good, isn't it? 2.5 years even. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Wow.
But we didn't start. We didn't start doing this till.
It was May 2016.
But September was when we started watching the films because
Yeah.
we started off with Preacher.
So it's
So
literally
cool.
been 2 years.
Well, that makes sense because this is the 52nd film, then add in how many episodes of Preacher we've had. So
Not enough
30,
to justify.
33.
Not enough to be this lacking. Listen, we all have jobs, for Christ's sake. We can't do it every single week. We try, but we can't. Anyway, so
Hey,
Blade Runner.
this is 86 episodes. That's not bad.
There's no return from 86.
But don't
anyway,
forget when we were doing the
Green Day.
films. When we were doing the films originally, we were doing them every 2 weeks.
So you've only missed
then
out
we
on...
went
that was only
weekly.
for like.
It's like
There's only
first-
twice we did that.
No,
and then,
that was like for the first 6 films, wasn't it?
Nah, first 2, I think. And then we decided to do it every week instead.
Oh, okay. I thought it
Um,
was longer than that. We did
no,
them
I don't think
2
so.
bi-weekly.
Joe, do you want to move C so you're not in the foreign line there, or...
We're having a civil conversation.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2049.
2049.
You hadn't seen it before, Mick, had you?
No, this is my first time watching it.
Joe, you also hadn't seen it. Was
Never
your
seen it.
suggestion?
Never seen it.
Ken?
I had seen it, but
Okay.
I didn't watch it again.
Okay, fair enough. So, what did you guys think of it then? Let's rank it. I'm just
That's
joking.
the
I'm just
entire.
joking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Where's the list?
On 5 Ryan Goslings.
So what is it? It's like, is it the 3rd or 4th Ryan Gosling film we've watched?
We haven't watched enough.
4th or 5th.
How much
Because we've
enough?
watched Drive, we've watched
The Nice Guys?
The Nice Guys,
Crazy
we've watched
Stupid Love?
Crazy Stupid Love, and then there was this. I think it's
Yeah.
4.
At least 4, yeah.
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 You know what?
What a
I noticed that he's such a babe. I noticed like your first note, Joe, was Gosling and Gosling already.
Fucking right. Like even in the first scene, like with Shatista, like I was like, yeah,
That's harsh.
all right, he's good in Guardians, and that's about
He's
it.
good in this.
The rest
He was
should
grand
just go
in
to
this
hell.
for what he was.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
perfect in this.
That was such a cool fucking opening scene, and
Yeah.
Gosling.
Mhm.
Yeah, we need to talk about Gosling for a second.
It's
This
such
man
a-
is fucking insane.
Like, hold on, for 4 lads sitting in a room, like, we cannot deny we're all gay for Gosling.
Gay for Gosling. I want a T-shirt that
Yeah.
says
Hashtag gay for
gay
Gosling.
for Gosling.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, I'm not gay, but you know, $20 is $20.
What's that from?
Stephen Amell had a T-shirt saying that at Gay Pride.
I want that T-shirt.
I'm not gay, but $20 is $20.
But yeah, so yeah, if this is our 4th one of the Gosling and Gosling
Mhm.
episodes, man, this guy just his range is insane. Like as an actor,
yeah, when you
it's
consider the 4
crazy.
films we've watched have been a romantic comedy, Drive, like what would you call Drive?
A psychological
I don't know what you
Like-
call Drive, really.
fun ride.
Slow. But it was fucking
but-
great, but it
but
was a very
was he
slow-paced
slow?
movie.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't talk much in it, so you can't
So that's
really
what I
tell
mean.
what
Like,
his
he's got
character
a
is.
silent protagonist.
Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
straight
It's just
action
serious.
film. Then you've got The Nice Guys, which is completely over the top, like
Yeah.
Comedy
funny
and-
comedy
but in the
film.
best way,
Comedy.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such
And
And
a
then
great film.
Blade
Yeah.
Runner, which is this
All-out
futuristic
action.
sci-fi noir action film. It's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
and also, I know you've seen it before, but he obviously did that. What's the musical?
La La Land.
La La
La La
Land.
Land.
Yeah.
And that's just
Completely
yeah. Now he's just
different.
doing musicals as well. So
Well, he was a Disney kid, wasn't
Mhm.
he? He was one of those Mickey Mouse club
Yeah.
Tears.
fucking things. Yeah.
Wonder when he'll
Yeah.
come out and say he's been touched.
God,
Jesus.
Oh
God.
Jesus! I hope not.
I really hope.
I hope that's
not.
never happened to him.
Groping on Gosling. Anyway.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Oh.
God.
I'll stop now.
For me, like one of the main, I like this film quite a bit, but one of my main problems with it, it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. They could have knocked out the story in an hour and a half to an hour and 45.
The original cut was 4 hours.
There is
Jesus.
Yeah.
so. I don't think I'm probably not as high on this film as you'd expect, and what it sounds like Aiden might be.
Yeah.
I think there is a very good 2-hour film in this.
Exactly. That's
film.
what I mean.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think there is a
Yeah.
very good 2-hour 40-minute film in
No.
this film. I think certain scenes dragged. Like
Yeah.
visually,
Stunning.
I think this film might be unparalleled.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing kind of visuals and cinematography, if you want to call it that. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. It's,
Um,
we should know this, but yeah.
Yeah. Is just like out of this world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But then I was kind of left lacking by, as you say, like the story seems to dwell and linger.
It's too fucking long. Let's just put it's definitely too long. What do you think, Joe?
I 100% think there's a great film in there, and this is one of the, and I think I remember saying this about the original Blade Runner,
Yeah.
and that is not a film you could watch half and then go back to it. You need to watch it in full to get
Yeah.
the full
Yeah.
experience of it.
Yeah.
And I think
And you
this-
didn't
this
sorry,
was
you
no
didn't watch the
different.
final cut, did you?
I didn't. I've never
Go
seen
back and watch the final cut.
cut.
It's much better than the theatrical.
I'll have to.
Yeah. It's
The
amazing.
one thing about this is I found that although it dragged the 3 acts of the film, really there's a lot of space in between those 3
Yeah.
acts before you get to 1, 2, and by the time it gets to the 3rd act,
You're exhausted.
You're kind of like, wow, fuck. I watched it last night and I found 2 hours 43 minutes felt like 4 hours to me.
Yeah.
It really did.
That's never a
Like-
good sign.
No.
It's never a good sign.
Like,
And
I
I
even
agree
went
with you on the
into you when-
visuals. I think they really paid homage to the beautiful visuals from the
Mhm.
original Blade Runner. But they upped the ante on how amazing those visuals
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
Some of the long shots from the scenes, the awkward, weird camera angles to how it looked was fucking amazing.
Yeah, they kept that
Like-
kind of neo-noir Tokyo type vibe with all of the like electronic signs and the
Neon
ones-
lights and yeah.
Yeah, and it was like again,
Yeah, the Sony ads, the Coca-Cola ads.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, let's
again
hope they don't fall under the
visually,
curse.
I thought this film was probably unparalleled.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just didn't find it. Didn't keep my attention.
No.
It was kind of just okay. Yeah, this is a Blade Runner sequel. I should be way more excited than I am.
Yeah.
But we're meandering around, and not a lot of interest and stuff is happening.
Like, there was huge hype around this movie
Mhm.
when it got announced.
That was
Yeah.
always going to happen with such an important, iconic original. I think that's something. I
Yeah.
think the director knew that
Even getting a
going into it, people are going to hardcore fans are going to be walking into a cinema with
Yeah.
baseball bats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're, like,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
ready to swing if one thing is wrong.
Yeah, and I think even getting a sequel to Blade Runner, like 30, 35 years later,
Mm-hmm.
was unreal. Like,
In that
No one
relation to the way they
expected
done it
it,
with
yeah.
Tron as well. Like, people
Yeah.
were kind of going, oh, this better not be bad.
Mhm.
Because that's like a cult classic.
have you watched Tron recently?
The original,
Yeah.
I can't.
I like
I
Doesn't
can't.
hold
No,
up very
no,
well.
at all.
yeah.
I love Tron, but that first one
Yeah.
does not hold up very well.
Like, Rosie watched. We got the
That really
final
saddens
cut
me.
version of the original,
Mhm.
and we couldn't watch 15 minutes of it. Now, I watched it years ago, and then I rewatched it again on my own before we watched the
Legacy.
yeah. No, sorry, not Tron. I'm talking about Blade Runner.
Oh, sorry.
I watched it on my own then before we watched the new one, and she got bored. So
Of the new one or the
of the
old
new one again, like because it's so long now. Because I like the original, I was kind of like, I know how this movie drags out. I know the kind of film style behind it, and I really enjoyed it. I think like they started off kind of kicking into it, slowed it down, and then they sped the whole movie up towards the end. That was kind of the way I felt about it.
Yeah. I mean, like, one of the things, I know I said this already a minute ago, but when I saw the theatrical cut, I think I was about 16 when I saw it, and I wasn't a big fan of it, because I'd played the, is it a point and click game? Is that what you call it?
Game.
I played the adventure game on the PC and stuff, and that is a fucking fantastic game. And it's, what?
Enhance.
It's one of those games where you can end it 3 or 4 different ways depending on what way you go about it. And I love that game, and I thought that story was amazing and blah blah blah. And it's not even a sequel; it's a sidequel, they call it, to the. So it's another Blade Runner that's happening at the same time as the movie and stuff.
Different dimensions.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you're talking to a lot of the characters that are in the Blade Runner movie and stuff like that, and it's really cool. But when I saw the theatrical thing, I wasn't mad on it. And then later on, we decided to watch for the podcast. Watch the theatrical. I was like, do you know what? I've heard so much of this Final Cut. I'm going to watch that as well. So watch that. And the Final Cut is so much better. It's way fucking better. So I'm glad
to look at that. I will.
I'm glad that they,
that.
and I think Ridley Scott got fucked over quite a bit with that original. It is Ridley Scott that did the original, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like he got fucked over quite a bit in terms of the studio wanting, like, they demanded a They demanded the narration on it. Harrison Ford wasn't happy with that either. He was like, this isn't necessary and blah blah blah. And I've brought this up before, but even the end of it, like the theatrical cut ends before that, just when they go into the editor, and that's the end of the film. But the studio wanted them to include
the Shining drive,
the Shining stuff. Like there's literally cuts from The Shining, where it shows, like, the exterior of, like, the mountain and stuff, and it shows that it's cuts between that and Harrison Ford and Sean Young in the car and stuff.
All right.
It's just very odd, and it's just like, that was so unnecessary. Why did they insist on doing this? So when he brought it the Final Cut years and years later, I was like, wow, this film plays way better. It makes way more sense. And they included like stuff like cutscenes that made certain elements of the original film make more sense and stuff, So it's just a much better film than the theatrical. So fucking watch the Final Cut.
Yeah, I will. I'll have to check that out.
I'm wondering, for me, if this Blade Runner 2049 is going to be one of those, maybe on a second watch.
That's what I was hoping, but no, it's the same. It's still too long. It's still too fucking long.
But I don't think there's any there's no way we're getting a shorter director's
cut.
cut.
I'd love if we did, but I don't think we will.
No, dude, I was actually
anything,
it's
longer.
not part of my facts or anything like that. But he was asked about it. Is it Denis Villeneuve? He was saying, there is no longer cut. There is no cuts like the set, because the original, although people split it into 2, had nearly several cuts that were choiced for it, and his one, he goes, no, this is it. It's complete. It's finished. There's no other cuts.
This is the film,
which is fair enough. I mean, he made the film he wanted to make, and he was happy with it and stuff. So, but
I don't know. It kind of makes me wonder, like, Ridley Scott's recent output has been, from the stuff that I've kind of been following, has been Blade Runner and then both of those Alien films. Yeah. Which all of those seem to not have gotten a massively great reception.
No. Yeah.
Like, there's been individual things that have been liked about them, like Fassbender's performance in, I think, both of those Alien Covenant films.
Yeah, he was actually pretty good.
He's amazing.
They're both terrible, but I didn't like them at all.
I didn't mind. What was the first one of those new ones? Was it Covenant?
Yeah.
I didn't mind.
No, Prometheus.
Yeah, sorry,
Covenant.
Prometheus. Yeah. I didn't mind Prometheus, but I didn't think it was as good as any of the stuff before. But anyway, getting back to Blade Runner, what did you guys think of, like, Jared Leto's character as the big bad?
I thought he was deadly.
I thought it was a very good
really
performance,
good, I thought,
but unless I kind of misunderstood the film, he never really got his comeuppance.
No.
Yeah, as the big bad, he kind of got away with everything, didn't he?
He just
really?
walked off, and then you don't see him again. Like, obviously his sidekick, was it Love?
Yeah, that bitch.
Like she got what was coming to her.
Yeah.
That's kind of true Blade Runner style, though, isn't it? Leave it open for a bit of mystery. Kind of, leave things open.
That whole Inception twirl on the table. You make up your own mind about the ending.
Yeah, kind of.
Did it wobble? Didn't it?
That's one thing this film really touched on, and that was the scary side to AI in the advancements, from the first one to now. The fact that the replicants are they're understanding freedom.
Yeah.
Which is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, terrifying and funny all at the same time of they want more. They want life.
It's kind of like The Matrix, isn't it? Like, if you look at the Animatrix and the whole thing when the androids start taking over, they initially say, look, if you look at that second Renaissance, which I mentioned a week or two ago, I think.
You did, yeah.
They try and broach peace with humans. Or like, listen, we just want to live side by side. We don't want to we're not trying to fuck your shit up, basically. And humans like stupidly rebel, and they try and shut them down, and then that's when the robots at that stage are like, you know what, fuck you, and they just declare all out war and try and annihilate all humans. Bending Rodriguez
kill all
style.
humans.
Kill all humans.
So I just thought that was weird, kind of like Jared Leto. I thought his performance was great. Like, I'm not his biggest fan.
He's a dickhead. Yeah,
especially after Joker.
Fucking dickhead.
And his terrible band.
I really don't like Jared Leto at all.
Yeah.
But I thought in this he was good
right.
in this.
He's very good in this, I thought, yeah. In fairness
quick aside, when you mentioned the Joker, did you see they released those Joaquin Phoenix shots as Arthur? And
I don't know how
I didn't even know they were making a Joker backstory film.
I knew that, yeah.
And that sounds like the possibly worst idea for a film I've ever heard.
And it's because, like, I haven't read the comics all that much. I love Joker. I love that character. I love Batman and stuff. Obviously, like, mainly, like, my love for Batman is generated from the animated series from the early 90s. But one thing that
that game is great.
Yeah.
Any game that I played of Batman was deadly. I think there was Arkham Asylum I played a little bit. That was amazing.
Yeah.
The Arkham series is perfect.
Yeah, it's great. But one thing that I really liked about what the Dark Knight did, do you remember that part when Joker's after being arrested and Commissioner Gordon's saying to Batman or to whoever, like, no, he's no identification, no backstory, we've no file on him, we've no idea who he is. I really liked that idea.
Yeah, that's the
him being just a complete enigma and not knowing where he came from and stuff. Like, I don't know if you're...
No, that's the Riddler.
Edward Nigma.
Very good.
Nicely done.
There he is. But they do touch on Joker's backstory in Batman Year One. I don't know if you've ever seen that film. It's an animated film with it's crazy. Like, Batman fucks Batgirl in it. It's crazy. But it's true. But it's but they do touch on his backstory in that. And they do it quite well. Like, he is a comedian in that as well. But in the way they did it there, it makes sense. But to have a full movie with his backstory, I don't know how I feel about it.
I thought the entire purpose of his character was that he didn't have a backstory.
Exactly, yeah.
Which kind of makes him this mystery, and no one can really, no one can get to him because he has nothing in his past
nothing to lose and stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
And that makes him more terrifying.
Yeah, because he's just out here for the anarchy.
Yeah, like the Batman animated series and the Dark Knight movie and stuff. All that sort of stuff, that sort of style of Joker, that element of him. He may be the best villain of all time, I would argue. But giving him a backstory, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. We'll wait and see. Joaquin Phoenix is an amazing actor.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's always really had one. Like, the comics have touched on it many a time.
Joe,
you're cutting out. Your mic's gone.
Oh, is this the mic?
No,
you replaced it.
Oh, the lead got changed.
Replaced the lead. It was grand. Okay. I don't know what was happening there.
Joe just likes to break leads.
Maybe it is. They've touched on it a few times, but it's never a mass amount of information. It's always like tiny bit, and then it moves on. Like, you never find out the full how he became.
Like, you do,
as far as I remember. Anyway.
You do when
There's
you're
probably an Origins comic out there somewhere.
You do in Year One, but and they do pretty well. But as just a full movie with standalone Joker movie, I don't know how I feel about it. But look, we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
We should probably talk about Blade Runner though.
Yeah.
So the replicants want to breed.
Oh, it's attack.
Well, I don't think they want to. It was more that this happened before, and now Jared Leto wants the replicants to breed because it's a lot quicker than making new ones.
Yeah, he wants the full rebellion, it seems.
Yeah.
What's his motivation for that even?
I know, that's the one thing I couldn't really figure out. He kind of just drops it on going, We've been to only 9 worlds. It's like we need to own the stars. And it's like we don't need millions. We need billions?
Yeah, I think he just wants more robots. And if the robots are starting to breed, then he gets more quicker, rather than having to grow them or whatever they. I don't know what they do in Blade Runner. I think they might grow them or incubate.
I think
them.
it's grown. I think you're exactly right. I think it's incubated and grown. Somehow. I couldn't understand his motivation fully for most of the film, and then by the time,
like, he cements his bad guy status in that scene where the replicant is kind of birthed from that pod and is just standing there naked, and he's quizzing her, and then fucking slits her throat just because she didn't meet his standard.
Yeah,
like, that scene 100%. Is just holy shit.
I felt that was a bit of a touch, maybe too far for the character. It seemed like it was jumping ahead of what the character's kind of becoming, or has already become, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's already there in its mind. It just has to be discovered. You know what I mean? Yeah.
There's
I find it hard. Yeah, I find it hard to discuss this film because I don't know. It seems disjointed in parts. I don't know if that's just me. Like,
I think I said something similar.
There's the narrative going, but then there's that whole thing with the hooker. Like, I think she puts a tracer on
a tracker
K, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then they have that fucking weird threesome. Was it a threesome? I don't know.
I said that. I goes, is this technically a three-way? Because, like, I think so.
Because she gets inside the stripper's body, but doesn't really, and is then like trying to mimic what the stripper's doing.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Joy? She is so hot.
He's got loads of nudie pictures of
They're
Joy.
not nudie. I wish they were nudie.
One of them is.
That's a body.
Oh, it's fucking.
Is she a model or?
She's a riot, Mick.
That's she a not model. What I
She's
asked.
A riot.
She's a fucking riot.
Yeah.
It's
very beautiful.
The same model is in that part where he's walking across the bridge, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the giant one comes out of the poster, and
so
it's
I think it's him. So he customized his like crazy, and you can see that from early on.
He gave her a whole bunch of upgrades. And stuff.
So the original Joy is that blue, big tittied one you see coming down.
Yep.
That, but not so big.
Class
and he's customized his to. By her end of her story in the whole film, she's unique. She's almost become
human,
sentient from what she was. She can move around. She's not locked to the ceiling with that 3D projector.
Because he bought that upgrade that lets her download onto the USB stick, basically. But even that bit, it's kind of like, it's a weird kind of comparison because it's almost like he looks at her the way humans look at replicants.
Oh,
if you get me?
I get what you're saying. I didn't think that, but yeah.
So it's like
what you're saying.
A kind of subordinate type AI. Because then you can tell there's that bit where they're on the roof and she's like enjoying the rain. Then he gets a phone call, so he pauses her and takes the phone call and then just puts her back on the USB stick and leaves.
God, I wish we could do
that. I love my wife.
Just in case she's watching.
I think at this time of the film, I was really like, where the fuck is Deckard? Was anyone thinking that? Like, and for ages I was kind of screaming. I goes, where the fuck is Deckard? Now I fully agree after thinking about the film for the past like today.
The past today.
I couldn't think of what to say there. I can see what they mean by leaving him to the third act. I completely see the reasoning behind that.
Do you think it would have had a bigger impact had they not spoiled it in the trailers?
Yes, 100%.
That Harrison Ford was in this film.
I said
trailers and posters.
He's like 90% of the fucking trailer.
Because just imagine that. Like somehow you keep his involvement secret. Obviously, it's hard to do because people are going to follow the Blade Runner sequel.
Conferences and shit you'd have to have them there. Like,
but if you don't know that going in, and this reveal happens, much 2/3 of the way through the film, it's like, holy shit, they've got back fucking...
It'd be like, what's the film? 21 Jump Street?
Yeah.
Where and it was kept so secret. It was not in any trailers, not in anything. The original Jump Street, Johnny Depp and
I can't remember the guy's name.
The other guy's name are literally just pop up at the end as things like, oh yeah, we used to be Jump Street.
Yeah.
Fuck, that was a shock.
Yeah.
Like that was a complete what the fuck moment. Could you imagine that in a Blade Runner 2040?
That would have been
if you were watching it, people would assume like, fucking
but
Harrison Ford's in this film.
it becomes Harrison Ford's story once he gets into it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like and then Kay becomes more of a side character. If
That's
that
the way it
makes
should have
sense.
been
Like
from the start.
Oh, Gosling.
Yeah.
This man owns
I could
this
see a
film,
version
and
of
he
this film
fucking
where
does so well.
Harrison Ford's character isn't in it, and maybe it's a better film.
But holy
Maybe.
shit, can he swing a hook?
Harrison
That's
Ford.
The fight with the Elvis projection in the background.
Oh my god. Just constantly glitching.
Yeah.
deadly.
Again, very like visually stunning.
Yeah.
And it just makes me wish the film had resonated with me more than it did.
Yeah.
Like it was all green screen, but if you look at the likes of their suits that they're wearing, like the slight little reflections and pings off buttons, all that Elvis is there, and it's just that's beautiful. The only thing I really enjoyed about the movie, apart from the length, was the visuals.
The visuals go along with the tech as well, because if you look at early on with the autopsy, it's so advanced in the whole thing, but you know, the enhanced and stuff like that again looks so old school, kind of slider kind of things. Like even when he's going through the DNA, it's like an old library where you're looking at the newspapers. They really kept that old Blade Runner tech, but the problem I had with it was it almost felt like the film itself had outgrown that kind of tech, and they were just kind of tacking it on.
This is always the problem with even sequels to films that were meant to be set in the future in the past. Because if you look at the Alien, original Alien film now, like that ship all looks like little sliders and dialy knobs.
But yeah, it was meant to be the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Back to the Future.
Yeah.
If you look at that as well.
The fucking digital readout that looks like a 1980s Casio watch.
Yeah. People still wear the Casios.
That's true.
For what? Did you say you liked the length of it, Ken? Was that what you're saying?
Because of the original.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it because I think if they had have shortened it down, I think it would have lost its feel towards the original.
How long do you think the original was?
It was...
The original's only like 90 minutes long, wasn't it?
2 hours?
This is just under 2 hours, 117 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So...
There's an extra 40-something minutes. I remember seeing it on the thing.
So I think if they had held it to the same length, or if not less, I think it would have ruined that whole feel of the Blade Runner series. But I think that they dragged it on that bit longer. Yeah, as you said earlier on, some parts were dragged out too much. Like, he could have got to where Harrison Ford was a shitload quicker.
Yeah.
Like, it's 2 hours and 43 minutes. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
He
sat there. There was, what was it? There was like a ship going up towards a building when they got to that city where Harrison Ford was.
Yeah.
Vegas.
Was Vegas. And they sat on the bridge watching this little fucking thing hover for his drone, was it? That he flew off?
Fuck
yeah, he flew that
You're
off.
gone.
That was like 4.5 minutes.
Are you back?
I think I'm back.
Hello?
Back?
Are you
You're
back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I'll just
that
hold it
was
here.
like stupid length of time for that drone to be flying around for a scene. It's like you could have cut that shit out. It could have just flew off. You could have went, yeah, that's where it is. Cool, let's go.
Just skip to the scene where he's giving the dog whiskey. That was awesome. That dog, and I can't decide if the dog was real or not.
Oh, do you think it was?
I don't know, because Kay asked that. He goes, "Is it real or not?" And he's like, "Why didn't you ask him?"
Yeah,
which makes me think maybe it is.
Or is it Harrison Ford just taking the piss?
Yeah.
So in the original, like, is it Do Android Dream of Electric Sheep? Is what the story that it's based on. Yeah. Like, owning a real animal is a luxury item and it's a status thing.
Yeah.
Which is why there's such a, like, in both films, there's such a question about, is that a real animal?
Oh yeah, it's kind of like in this one the way they did it with wood.
I think in the
did you notice that?
In story or in the original story. I think Harrison Ford's character, Deckard, wants to buy... Deckard, sorry. Wants to buy... I'm thinking of Deckard Cain from Diablo. It's Deckard Cain. He wants to buy, like, a real owl.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so it's
because the wood in this was done that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you get the value, and it's like you could sell this for like a lot of money.
And the headquarters where Jared Leto's character is all wood on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like showing. It's kind of like showing I have a fuck ton of money. My whole place is made of wood.
It's like walking into
wood
a hotel
from
now
a tree.
and it's just like marble everywhere.
Trees
it's
are
like
extinct.
It's a good hotel. Yeah.
It's like trees are extinct. My whole house is built of wood. I'm rich, motherfuckers.
Where does the oxygen come from?
Never thought of that. But maybe oxygen farms.
Maybe.
It's futuristic. I think that's one of those things you don't need to think about. It's kind of like, whatever. It's
People have found a way. Life finds a way.
I think at that stage of the whole film, we had fully believed that Kay was the boy.
Oh, yeah. I had anyway.
First time, did you believe?
The
memories, I was like, the memories are his.
Anytime something like that happens that early in the film, because you get that impression like a third of the way into the film, I'm always skeptical because it's like they're not going to have that reveal that early. There's going to be a change, and obviously there was.
Plot twist.
Yeah. It's not him.
As they said earlier, the records were
swapped
purposely messed around with. Fudged. Is that the word they used, actually?
No, that's the word I used.
To make sure. And there's a little bit of there's a lot of disappointment in Kay's face when it's like, oh, you thought it was you. We all do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck, man, that's so sad. It's like, it just kind of breaks him.
I like that they, like, the reasoning that they have for him having that specific memory, I think is quite good, because obviously the ending turns out that the person who's pretty much responsible for all android memories or replicant memories is, like, the
all
replicant
the best ones are
daughter.
Are hers.
That's why they pay her the big bucks.
Yeah, because all her memories, they're the best ones.
What did you think of the ending?
I don't know how I feel about Deckard going to meet his daughter. That seems a bit fucking weird in the left field.
I thought that really closed off the whole thing. I thought that part was all right. The whole part with the... this is where I think they lost the plot on writing-wise. When Jared Leto was talking to Deckard, it goes through the whole thing, and then you have that unbelievably impressive CGI for the Rachel replicant. Holy shit. That was amazing. And totally that was a shock to me. But then it's like, I've got ways to make you talk off-world. Suddenly he's on the fucking car going thing. And they have the big fight in the water and stuff like that.
Great fight, again. Visually amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't think that scene was needed at all.
I think that was the killing of the big bad in prep for another Blade Runner. It's like he killed off the overling, like the henchman, the head henchman, henchwoman. And then
Angel of Death.
Yeah. And then Jared Leto's character is still to be dealt with. But yeah, then it kind of just went out left field, and it was like, we need to keep, because the replicant resistance people were like, you have to take out Deckard Cain or why do I keep calling him Deckard Cain?
Because the Diablo.
You have to take out Deckard to keep the child safe.
Yeah.
What does he fucking brings him to her?
Yeah, and then he dies on the step.
Well, presumably dies on the step.
He's definitely dead.
Again,
dead.
Inception. Spinning.
There's one clue to that I remember reading.
Spinning around.
Yeah. And, there's a death scene in the original with a certain song playing in the background. That song plays as he lies on the step, and it's called At Death's Door.
Oh.
I think it's called.
It doesn't mean you die, though.
It's heavily implied, though.
It's
if that's true.
Implied, yeah.
Other kind of small points just about the film. I like that they gave his partner from the original a small cameo.
Yeah.
When Kay goes to talk to him about Deckard.
Yeah, and I love the way he does the origami of the sheep.
Yeah, he makes the same origami thing that he made.
Stream of sheep. Very clever. But even there's a cool little line he says, and I goes, that's definitely a nod to the fans over the last 20, 30 odd years or whatever. When he goes, there's just something in his eyes. For years, people have been saying, "Oh, he's a replicant." It's you can see it in Harrison Ford's eyes in the film. That's definitely a nod. There is no way that was put in without thinking, yeah, let's fuck with them a little bit. Oh,
but yeah.
Joe, do you want to go into your facts?
I will, of course.
Do you know what I'm really happy about?
What?
Because we're back doing the films, I get to do this again.
That's a fact.
Facts, Max.
Just the facts, ma'am.
It's been too long.
You missed that?
I missed that.
Yeah, you missed that. All right, let's do this. We're back doing facts. First fact, David Bowie was Denis Villeneuve's first choice for the role of Neander Wallace. But, of course, David Bowie passed away before the start of shooting.
Which one was Wallace?
Jared Leto's character.
Jared Leto's character.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
David Bowie would have been cool.
Yeah.
Only if he had the 80s hair.
Oh,
Yeah.
elaborate.
Yeah, elaborate stuff.
He was dressed up as if he was in Labyrinth.
And the cod piece.
And the copy, so you can see his dick.
Oh my god. So number 2, as seen in the film, the baseline test the K must recite back. A system of cells interlinked within cells interlinked within
was
cells
very weird.
interlinked was Ryan Gosling's idea. He employed an acting technique called dropping in, which induced a trance-like and hypnotic effect on his performance.
I thought that was that scene is amazing, where the guy is just relentless, and the replicant has to obviously be, just keep repeating that cells, and it gets so intense. It's really good, and then obviously it ties back into halfway through the film where he thinks he's the child. And he fails that test.
Yeah.
Like, spectacularly fails that test.
It's like, you're like less than 40% or something. It was like, whoa, fuck. 3, in order to portray the blind character Neander Wallace, Jared Leto decided to fit himself with opaque contact lenses to make it impossible for him to see. I didn't know that Jared Leto's character was blind until I read that.
No,
What? How did you not know that?
yeah.
It was obvious, I thought.
No! Like, did you know he was blind?
Yeah.
Throughout the whole film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
fucking
fucking weird would wearing opaque contact lenses be?
That's
Pretty
full
weird.
shadowed, right? Like gone. Like
You can't
darkness.
see. Basically, you would
That's
have your
terrifying.
eyes open and can't see.
That's terrifying. And he did it for the...
Random
I'd
fact.
say he would have to get used to that adjustment, like wearing them at home for an hour each day, just to get used to the fact of.
Well, that's how real
the
contact lenses
senses.
work. That you're supposed to only wear them initially for like a few hours at a time.
Random.
Well, yeah, just to get used to the point of having no eyesight.
Yeah.
Random Evil Dead fact. The end of... I think it was the first one, where Ash gets possessed and he has the full white milky eyes. Also could not see out of those.
No way.
But he had to be face down in like a puddle of dirty water, and he apparently could only wear them for 20 minutes because they were very rough and, I won't say poorly made, but not
Definitely
like
poorly made.
health and safety passing. So yeah, he just was very uncomfortable with them, and he couldn't see at all. So that's why he makes a real weird wolf-like face when he thinks he's possessed. Anyway,
enough.
go on, continue your
4,
facts.
Sony Pictures, which handles the worldwide distribution of the film, incurred the wrath of the Film Critics Association in Turkey when it
Not the Turkish
I know.
Film Association.
But this is actually a funny one. When it defended its decision to supply Turkey with a self-censored version of the movie, Sony deleted all instances of nudity by stating that it was done out of respect for the local culture. So Turkey responded in an open letter to Sony saying, seeing oneself as an authority to decide what is appropriate and what is not appropriate for a local culture and imposing your view on that culture is one of the greatest shows of disrespect for that culture. It is an insult to the people of Turkey and specifically to moviegoers in Turkey to assume them to be disturbed in any sign of nudity whatsoever.
I assumed you were going to say that Turkey were being dicks, but now I'm on their side. In this
no,
one,
it's complete. It's Sony Pictures. It's like, what the fuck?
You can't win in that situation.
No.
If they submit a film with a whole load of nudity, the Turkish censor board may just go, no.
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
Our culture. 5. Ridley Scott claimed that the opening scene of Kay's confrontation with Sapper Morton was an alternate beginning.
Sorry, what a name.
I know,
Fucking
Sapper
Morton.
Go on, say the facts.
It was an alternate beginning of Blade Runner 1982, which would have featured Deckard instead of Kay, and much of the original script for the scene was used, as well as Scott's original storyboards.
That's pretty cool.
So the opening to this film was the original idea for the opening of the Blade Runner film.
That's
I thought
pretty
that was really cool.
Yeah.
6. A visual effects company worked for a full year on the scene where Rachel, Sean Young, appears exactly as she did 35 years ago in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Stand-in actress Lauren Pita acted out the scene, and her appearance was changed through computer-generated visual effects to resemble young Rachel. Rachel's voice was provided by a sound double. Director Dennis Villeneuve purposely limited the amount of Rachel shots and gave the visual effects team ample time to work in order to avoid the criticism that the digitally recreated Carrie Fisher and Peter Cushing in a Rogue Star Wars story had drawn.
Rogue
he said
One
the
could have
result
learned something.
was mesmerizing.
Rogue One could have learned something from that.
Peter Cushing was
give
pretty
them a
good.
year.
Peter Cushing was pretty good, but fucking Princess Leia looked terrible.
She was terrible.
Yeah.
7. While shooting a fight scene, Harrison Ford accidentally punched Ryan Gosling in the face. As an apology to his co-star, Ford invited Gosling to share a bottle of Scotch whiskey with him.
Oh,
I thought you were going to say
nice.
Ford invited Gosling to punch him back in the face.
Should
have been the perfect
I don't want to
Ford
kill you,
thing,
old man.
Yeah.
Just hit
I
me.
don't know. He's trying to punch you in the face. Bottle of Scotch.
Number 8.
Get fucking wasted.
Being 57 years old at the time of filming, Sean Young does not appear directly in the movie, but her character, young Rachel, is recalled first with a picture and an upgraded footage from the original Blade Runner, and then played by a performance double. Young was brought in personally to train Peter in reproducing Rachel's characteristic gait. Is that how you say that?
walk.
Yeah, and mannerisms from the first movie. The scenes were filmed with minimal crew and total secrecy, and Young's contribution was personally denied in media campaigns. In fact, perhaps as misdirection, Young had previously revealed that she wasn't asked by the producers to appear in the film, and even requested fans to boycott the movie.
No way.
That's a dangerous precedent to set.
That is very bad.
Yeah.
We don't want people to know you're involved, so tell people not to see the film.
In fact, tell them never to see the film. The threesome scene, this is number 9. The threesome scene was shot for real, without the use of green screen and containing a minimum of digitally inserted elements.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, what now?
The scene was shot twice, once with Ryan Gosling and Ana de Armas doing their choreography, and once with Gosling and Mackenzie Davis.
Is that what they call? Is that what they call it now? Choreography.
Choreography.
It's called on the street. Yeah. Do you want to go have some choreography?
That's what I call it.
Will you choreography me?
Will you choreograph her? Will you?
Yeah.
That's kind of writing, isn't it?
Both shots calligraphy make. Both shots were then combined, containing 2 versions of Gosling and 2 backgrounds. Digital manipulation was used to remove one of each from the shot and match up the positions of Joy and Mariette as exactly as possible. Some glitches where their movements did not line up perfectly were allowed to suggest that they cannot sync up perfectly. In fact, a computer-generated Joy was briefly inserted when she moves around Kay to remove his coat because her movement did not match Mariette's. The editor, Joe Walker, noted that this caused a happy accident where Joy briefly looks less lifelike, as if her program acts less realistic when she knows Kay is not watching her.
Yeah.
That's
pretty cool.
class.
So their fuck-ups, they made a positive.
Yeah, they made a fucking great advancement.
That scene in particular was just... I know, it's like unusual, but it's so well shot.
My hand was in my penis.
Yeah.
My penis was in my hand.
Yeah. I wrote the hand off myself during that scene as well.
Yeah.
3 hot people.
Oh, yeah, all 3 of them. Jesus. And finally, number 10, in the climatic scene.
Oh, yeah.
The Rachel character from Blade Runner is recreated for Deckard, and he rejects her because he says the original Rachel had green eyes. However, if you review the original movie, a close-up of Young's eyes and the same close-up are seen in this movie when fragments of her interview from the first movie are played, are undeniably both golden brown.
So Harrison Ford is like losing his memory.
Yeah. Well, he's old.
Unless he's playing them.
He's like, I don't remember.
Does that bring us on to our lovely list, does it?
I think it brings us to the list, which means, once again, I get to play this.
Chip, you know what? You just made the list. Oh, no. Oh, here we go.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Are you guys able to... You're able to bring up the list, aren't you?
I know. I wish I could see the whole thing. No, it's not that high.
You're making a massive assumption there, Joe.
It's a great film, but
so what is your initial thinking?
I still overall it would like there's some great points.
The list?
Yeah.
It's on the Facebook page.
Oh.
On the IMDb.
Yep. Good stuff. So yeah, just to kind of try and keep the conversation going. Do you have an initial thought? Anybody? Do we want to start somewhere? Where are you thinking?
Well, with the original Blade Runner being in 12th.
I will say, yeah, the original Blade Runner is currently in 12th. I think this is going to be lower than 12th.
I do, yeah. I'm thinking maybe 28 maybe.
Same.
You're thinking
Seriously?
around...
Yeah, same.
Yeah, just under Popstar,
no,
above Apollo
no.
13.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay.
This is a better film than Popstar.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
Very much is.
Oh, if I was to put it higher, it would have to jump up to 26.
I'm thinking...
Above Capote on General Principle.
Oh, wait. Is Capote...
I was high on Capote.
Oh, it's going above Capote. Capote was... No.
I think above Beauty and the Beast to take that 23 spot.
I would actually agree with Ken.
I'd be happy with that.
I'd be very happy with that, yeah.
I'm glad that the first of these list addings just went so swimmingly.
Oh, what's going on? It's
I
like a
don't
whole
know.
new season.
No. Wait. Just wait. There'll be some mass arguments, I'm pretty sure.
So we're saying
always, yeah.
We're saying 23
Or
underneath Young Frankenstein and above Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Also, is if I'm reading right... Oh, no, it's not. I was going to say it's the lowest rated Ryan Gosling film, but no, Crazy Stupid Love is down in 30.
It should be higher. I love that film, but yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, there's Nice Guys. It's like 19. Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff, gents.
That was well done.
That we did, we did that a lot quicker than I expected.
Yes.
I was expecting a big argument.
Yeah. Do we have final thoughts on Blade Runner 2049?
I still really like it. There's talk with her one.
Yeah, there is talk with the third one. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Technically
again,
it'll be the fifth one.
I'm still interested
how
in...
would it be the fifth?
There's two in the middle.
No,
two short films.
They don't count.
Well, no, feature length I'm talking about. Yeah.
I'm still interested in another Blade
up.
Runner film. I think the universe and the setting they've created
There's
are
lots to do,
interesting
yeah.
enough
Oh, yeah.
that I don't think another one. I don't think Harrison Ford is specifically necessary for another Blade Runner film.
He's done.
He said he's over if he likes the script.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh really?
Yep.
He said
I would
liked the script better
would
than
like to
the
see
original.
Ryan Gosling reprise his role if he's not dead.
Yeah.
I'd like to guzzle on Gosling again.
Yeah, I would absolutely like to guzzle on Gosling.
Especially future Gosling.
Oh.
It's my favourite Gosling.
As opposed to past and present Gosling?
Just all of them. Just put them in my mouth.
Jesus Christ.
So you want to force him with past, present and future Gosling?
Yeah, just 3 dicks. Having a sword fight in my mouth. Go on. Is that too much to ask?
Yes,
No,
it is.
it's not.
Oh, it's hot.
It's 3 dicks
Sorry,
in this
go
room.
Yeah.
There is, yeah. Do you want to test it out? We'll get
Yeah,
you
right.
ready.
Yeah,
Oh,
listen.
Get you ready.
Let's have a sword fight during the break in my mouth.
And then we come back in part 2.
Oh, we'll come back, all right. Join us in part 2. Where we're going to talk about best and worst sequels of all time.
That's disgraceful.
Yeah, it's hot though. It's so hot. See you in like 3 minutes or something, or however long the break is going to be that Mick puts in. And welcome to part 2 of Preachin' on Preacher at the Movies. This week, our question of the week is best and worst sequels of all time. Gentlemen,
Yes.
we're obviously before we even go anywhere, everybody's obviously going to name The Empire Strikes Back
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously.
because that's the old. That's kind of the ultimate sequel, isn't it? Although
Godfather 2.
Back to the Future too.
Yeah, but people sort of argue back and forth of Back to the Future whether or not it's better than the first one.
Second one's better.
I definitely preferred
don't
the
know.
second one when I was younger.
Same. Yeah.
I think looking back on it, there's a lot more nuance and detail in the first one that you kind of appreciate when you go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Especially when you have the DVD that has like the facts appearing at the bottom, which is great.
Oh, really? Can you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no. There's also one of there's an audio commentary track which isn't. It's not one of those traditional audio commentaries. It's literally, I think it's Bob Zemeckis and what's the other guy's name? Bob Gale.
Bob Dole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking as well. But no, they're at some
Bob
they're at some sort of film college or something like that, and they're literally watching the film whilst doing a Q&A with students and stuff, and throwing facts back and forth and things like that. So that's a good commentary track if you're ever extremely bored, like I was once. But yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I'm reading the list here, not The Dark Knight. We'll talk about that in a second, inevitably. But I think
bad sequels.
yeah, sure. The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I don't know if I could pick a favorite between the two, which is
Empire Strikes Back.
It's probably a controversial opinion because everybody says Empire, but I really love both of those sequels. They're both amazing.
I do. I think Empire's the stronger one. Yeah, you see, we're getting onto the holy grail of sequels straight away.
Yeah.
I
just said I mentioned
that film.
I just said I mentioned right from the top just to get it out of the way, because it's going to be. I'm sure it's in the feedback. many times over.
Yeah, I was skipping through the comments that we have. There's definitely a lot of Star Wars fans.
Yeah. It's quite popular. I don't know if you noticed. That's why Disney. Yeah, that's why Disney paid like, $100 for it or whatever.
$1 bazillion for what it is. Like, we want it.
Yeah,
hey, they're trying to get their money's worth afterwards.
They're monopolizing the whole thing. Like, we
of
want
course
Star
they are,
Wars. We want this.
Hollywood, I'll take it.
I'm going with Empire. Like, like straight away out of Star Wars ones, it's got to be Empire, man. It's just
absolutely,
it's just perfect film, and it's one of those ones where I think the first time you'll always remember your first time watching it because of the ending. Like, I did not see that.
I didn't. Yeah, I did. Thank fuck, I didn't know the ending because when I watched it, I think I watched it after that whole re-release thing in 1997 after 20 years after the original.
Oh yeah.
I believe I borrowed the videos off a friend of mine, and I had no idea about that twist, and it was fucking it bowls you over.
The funny thing is, I don't actually remember a time when I didn't know that.
Oh, I do. I remember that was one of those moments like,
I
was like 12.
But that makes sense. To me,
either.
it's always
I do.
something I think obviously I haven't always known it, but it's always something I think I've known, and it's probably because I watched Star Wars when I was really young. Like, they were always on Channel 4 Christmas.
Well, you didn't say best and worst, actually, Joe, in that question. We're looking for worst as well, I don't know.
Oh, were we? I thought it was best sequels of all time.
I know, best
always. It doesn't matter. I thought you asked 2 questions, to be honest. I thought you then had a second post that had worst.
Oh, we can list some of the worst sequels
of
all time really easy.
Yeah.
It only counts if the first film was good, though.
Yeah. But
okay, yeah.
But Empire, Empire is just it's really dark. It's really different from the original, from the first one. It stands up in its own right as just a really fucking great film. It doesn't rely on the first one to make the second one great, which is kind of, I think that's what a lot of people look for in a sequel, isn't it?
It's funny because now that we know it as A New Hope, the original Star Wars was supposed to be a standalone, no sequel film. That's why the first film is a very complete film. That's why Death Star is dead. Everything's all happy at the end and everything's fine. There's no hint of maybe we can go somewhere with this.
I thought Lucas wanted to do more than one, though, didn't he? Know?
I think he did. That's why he didn't mind. He signed over a lot of the film rights, but kept the toy rights, wasn't it?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and that's how he made so much money.
Yeah, he was very fucking clever.
Which
with that.
I've heard Trey Parker and Matt Stone talk about that sort of thing before. They're saying the amount of merchandise for South Park that gets out there, and we don't see a fucking penny of it. We should definitely get a piece of all that, but we don't, because whatever way they signed up their contract, in the first place, they sort of.
You need to check out a mini-series documentary on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us.
Yeah. And I think Adele watched that.
Some of them are really sad with the way the licenses go.
Yeah.
They just shop them out to whoever will fucking give them money for it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Star Trek was one of the worst. It's poor bastards.
Yeah.
That they got absolutely raped by, the market.
Really?
They never saw a cent for it. The studio rarely made money on it. They didn't think toys would make them any money. While Lucas with Star Wars was like, no, that shit's going to make money.
Yeah.
In fact, to this day, the Star Wars toy line has made more money than the films.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? It makes sense because it's decades and decades of kids being bought toys from Star Wars and shit.
Yeah.
Lego especially.
Yeah, another one.
Lego's the one taking over that.
Yeah.
Until now, isn't it?
Another sequel, it's obviously I'm going to mention this shit. Clerks 2. I think that
is. Do you think it's better than the original?
Here we go again.
Yeah, I know. I don't think
it's a good sequel.
I don't know if it's better than the original.
Our question, I don't think it needs to be better than the original. I think
not
it just needs to
necessarily,
be a good sequel.
Clerks 2, to me, it's arguably as good, if not better, than the first one.
I think I prefer.
It depends on your mood or something. Do you know what I mean? What's great about Clerks 2 is it's
a very different film.
I think
that's what's great about it.
Good though.
It's so different. There's a lot more heart in it and stuff, and it doesn't rely on the first one. And the dance scene, that dance scene should not work.
No.
It should not work under any circumstances.
I think for me,
but it does.
The reason I kind of sometimes lean towards Clerks 2 is that it retains a lot of what Clerks 1 did well, but also has the benefit of Kevin Smith's extra 20 years of filmmaking.
Yeah.
Well, 12, but who's counting?
Yeah. So better shot, better written. I think tighter written.
Yeah.
Kind of. I think as well the actors. I know they got the same guys in, but they obviously had more experience as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Weren't they when they shot Clerks? Weren't they kind of just his friends?
Mostly, yeah. Brian O'Halloran was a proper actor, but the rest of them were just
friends, family, and Brian O'Halloran.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite one of my favorite quotes I've ever read about Clerks, the first one, was Empire Magazine. They said, something like, scraped together for less than $30,000, paid for by credit card bills or credit cards or whatever, and featuring a cast of frankly crap actors. Clerks is easily the cleverest and funniest comedy of the 90s. Like, in spite of all the, despite the odds stacked against it, it's fucking brilliant because that script is so good. Like,
what year did Clerks 2 come out?
2006.
That long ago?
Yeah, 2006. Yeah, because I remember because I was 21 and a friend of mine took me for my 21st birthday, which was really nice.
And Clerks 3 is dead again.
Clerks 3 is dead, unfortunately. Yeah,
he's done.
No, but Clerks 2, like they make about 2 references to the original one, something like that. And like it's funny enough, like all that Kevin Smith knew that he wanted to do with it at the start of the genesis of the story, he knew that he wanted to open it with he didn't want to open it and close it in black and white. He wanted to open it with the store burning down and end it with the guys owning the store. And he knew he wanted to have a dance sequence in it. That's all he knew.
That's it. That's
all he had. That's all he had.
Going in, he was like, "This is all I need."
And that was his idea. And then he went with it. And it's like, where would these guys be like 12 years later or whatever, And he made a fucking phenomenal film out of it.
Still the same. Like, I love the way Kevin Smith looks at it and goes, "You know what? These guys would still be fucking nowhere in their life."
Yeah.
And that's the same thing the way now this is going forward, but we know they're currently filming probably one of my favorite franchises, but Bill and Ted 3 at the moment, and the way the writers and directors were looking at, like, even the way Keanu Reeves was the big kind of way behind it. They have the script locked down now.
Yeah.
So I was like, what would these absolute wasters be fucking doing 30 years or 20 odd years later?
Yeah, but Keanu Reeves hasn't aged a day.
I know, that's the thing. Did you see his co-star, your man
Alex Winter?
Alex Winter has aged horribly. No offense to him.
He's not. I wouldn't say hardly. I mean, it's been almost 30 years.
He definitely hasn't aged as well as Keanu Reeves.
Look at his face.
It's to be fair to the guy, it's been 31 years, I think, or something like that, since the first Bill and Ted.
Look at Keanu Reeves.
I know, yeah.
Have you seen the
meme? He travels the subway.
He's getting younger.
Have you seen, is it the meme where it's like Keanu Reeves doesn't age and it's like him in 2004, 94, 04, and then like 60 and 92, and it's just like an old-timey art painting that looks like Keanu Reeves. It's like, oh.
I love those ones where they find old paintings, because one of the ones the other day popped up of a Spanish woman and someone drew mustache on it because it looks like Michael Cera. And I mean, it's the spill of them. Fucking amazing.
That's a great sequel as well as your Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I prefer that to the first one.
That's the one with death, isn't it?
Yeah. Bogus Journey is definitely better than the original. And the first one's a great film. Yeah. Bogus Journey just kind of...
It's the better of the two, isn't it? I think, anyway.
Yeah, 100%. And it was more full.
No, yeah, I know I've seen both, but I can't remember. I don't think I ever remember what the first one is about.
I mean, you were talking... The first one they have to do a history assignment.
So they go through time.
I thought that was the second one.
No, it's the first one. And like Socrates. Oh, I fucking love that shit. Socrates, in case anyone's not getting
into
that
the future.
It's very
past.
The best place is here. Best time
is now.
Or like Butch from OTT, or Angus from OTT.
That's what. Yeah, the time is here. This is Bill and Ted.
I wonder if he stole that from Bill and Ted.
I wanted to just
sounds like Bill and Ted. Actually.
Just by osmosis, he probably just said, "Wait, fuck, where did I get that from? Oh, I stole it from Bill and Ted." Oh, well.
Will I tag him in the comments and see if I come in? And
yeah, do it. Yeah,
we'll repeat the line when he's on and just be like, "Did you steal this from Bill and Ted, man?"
We know, Engo. We know.
And when when I first started going to it, he's like, "Angus McNally is in the Lyric Sport guy," and then it turns out, oh, it is the Lyric Sport guy's son. Which is, do you remember the Lyric Sport back in the day?
Is that the thing where they played the piano and sang?
Skip. Remember that?
That was a fucking deadly show.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that still does radio and stuff.
But I just remember, like, when we used to like be at a sesh, there was one guy that I'd be there trying to play a song on the guitar, not remembering the words, and somebody just go, skip.
Your session.
Actually, I'm not tagging Engo unless I can tag Dom. It ain't happening, and Dom's probably out in the piss.
The whole podcast just goes to hell
on a Wednesday.
He just end up giving us dogs abuse.
Do
we have any worst? To kind of change tack for a little bit.
Yeah,
3 films.
Okay.
Phantom Menace, Clone Wars.
Attack of the Clones. But yeah.
They all get thrown in there. They're all sequels to a franchise that's like...
No, I think...
Fuck you, Lucas. I want my money back.
I don't remember I haven't watched Attack of the Clones since it came out. Haven't watched...
better than Phantom Menace.
It is.
I rewatched the Phantom Menace. That's what stopped me from watching Clones and Sith. I just couldn't do it. Because I remember Phantom Menace being not nearly as bad. I watched it.
I still don't think it's nearly as bad as people have made out to be.
Yes, it is. Have you watched it recently?
It is.
It's been a few years.
Oh, man, it is. Believe me.
Mr. Jar Jar Binks.
Do you know what? For
that is a fucking great Jar Jar impression, bro.
Mr. Gonna kill myself.
Oh, Jesus.
Go ahead, Jar Jar. We won't stop you.
Please.
Here, take this blunt instrument and go right ahead, please. Do you remember the film when he's like tripping over a gun or something?
Oh my god!
And he's there slapping.
Have you
the whole idea behind that character was
for the kids.
It was for the kids. He goes, I want to make it more kid friendly. We need a character that they can relate to.
Have you seen the theory? And I think it's done tongue in cheek.
I hope so.
That Jar Jar Binks is actually like a Sith Lord.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, think about it. In that battle, he never misses.
Yeah,
true. Fair point.
And he manipulates.
He's better than a droid anyway.
He manipulates himself into the Senate. Like he becomes
acting senator for
he's the one that casts the vote that gives over power to the Emperor.
Stop it, you're depressing me.
And in Revenge of the Sith, he actually takes the place of Padme.
Yeah, and starts off the vote to... he basically suggests, hey, let's give it to the senator. He's
an
a
article
Sith Lord.
I'd read.
Yeah.
That is completely an article I would read every day.
Oh, God.
Snopes.com. True.
Oh, God. You've depressed him. Look, you've actually depressed him.
You've made the movie better now.
Yeah, just go back and watch it again.
With that thought in your head.
No. Dumb and Dumber 2, that was rubbish.
I've not seen it,
yeah,
but
it awful.
if it's as bad as bad as Dumb and Dumberer, then it's terrible.
It's
I thought you were going to say Dumb and Dumber, and I was about to throw down.
No,
Dumb
I like
and Dumber
Dumber.
is that? You know what? The second one is not as bad as Dumb and Dumber.
Which? Remind me again. Which is which?
Lloyd.
Yeah, that's
fuck off.
Dumb and Dumberer is the
Dumb and Dumberer is the
prequel with some actors that nobody knows really that well, but apparently did it quite well what they were given, but it was still shit.
Yeah,
it was shit. The second one is better than that.
Not very good though.
Not very good though.
No. Like worst of all time is probably harsh, but it's not not good.
I find it weird that exists because Jim Carrey is very careful about his sequels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The fact that he signed on for it really freaks me out.
And a third as well. And a third one.
What do you mean a third one?
They're not doing a third, are they?
The Dumb and Dumber movie that came out recently?
That's Dumb and Dumber 2.
Second. Well, there's a prequel and
there's a prequel and a sequel.
But the prequel doesn't
had nothing to do with Jim Carrey.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I'll go.
Jeez, don't scare me like that. They're going to make another one.
God.
No.
It would definitely be,
Peter, Bobby, stop it.
It would definitely be a third.
It would be a Jim. Jim. This is a third of a movie.
So one I was disappointed in. Airplane 2.
That was fucking shite.
I actually like Airplane 2.
Oh, get out.
That's the one where it goes to the moon, right?
Yeah, it's such a rehash of the first one.
Yes.
Like they just reuse the same jokes.
Yes, they did.
And how good Airplane 1 is, Airplane 2 is that bad.
Hangover 2, that was another one that did that terrible. So bad.
Absolute awful.
I've not seen it.
Oh, it's awful. Again, it's just a rehash of the first one.
You don't need any sequels to that. Because that first Hangover film, great.
It's really good,
It came out of nowhere. It was like, what the hell is this?
Nice little sleeper hit, you know.
Is the second one Bangkok?
Yeah, I think so.
Or you saw that not too
long
ago.
Did I get a tattoo?
That is not as bad as I remember. It's nowhere near as good as the original, but itself
that original
is not
one
that bad.
is genius.
Yeah, it's really.
It was a great idea for a movie.
Yeah.
The third one is awful.
Yeah.
Only because of their script had to change. Do you remember? Because they couldn't get the location. They originally wanted to do where was it? They had two other locations. They wanted either Dublin. Yeah. Dublin was the original script, and then that got changed to somewhere else, and then it eventually landed on. Let's just go back to Vegas and finish it.
Yeah.
It's like fuck off.
Why did you even watch the third one after seeing the second one?
Because
what were you thinking?
I didn't mind the second one. The second
Why?
one was,
even that part. Do you know the real low point for me was just when when Stu realizes, oh, I know where the fucking groom is. Like it just got to that part. Just like I can never predict anything. I always like when I'm watching a film.
Oh, the brother.
I never even subconsciously. Yeah, I never even subconsciously trying to guess what they're going on next. And it got to a point in the film. It's like he's about to realize where the groom is, isn't he? And he fucking sure enough realized. Like, oh my god, fuck this film.
It's that style.
No, it's rubbish. They did it once. They did it well. Just leave it.
It should have been a one.
I would have said Saw
movie.
is similar in that vein.
Really?
The first Saw film is a great thriller. And I will say I've not seen all of the Saw sequels.
You have to, though.
That's the point of Saw. It's a 6-part story.
It's a fucking 40-part story.
It's so like the timeline is fucked up. So it's kind of like reading the Lord of the Rings books. You know, you'd get to one whole thing and then it goes back to the beginning. It's the same with Saw.
You've defended Saw on multiple occasions.
I have, because it's like 1 and then 2 and then 3 is just before 2 and after 3.
Yeah.
Like, while then it would be 4 and then 5 is in between 3 and 4 and like 6 and 7
and then like
the
7
story.
is after 42 and 86 is after 3, I think it was. Wasn't it?
If you watch the whole story, it's not until the very end, like or the last film, that you realize, oh, that was a cool story.
Yeah,
it actually came full
comes
circle.
Full circle. It's like, oh, that's cool.
I
That's
never saw it coming. I will have to say, even though it's Bruce Willis, A Good Day to Die Hard.
That's
worst sequel.
Oh, worse. I think we say best. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh no, best. I'm probably gonna go with Infinity War.
Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's another amazing sequel. By
Good
the way.
Day to Die Hard is which one is that?
5.
Worst.
That's the last.
They didn't have a 5th one. Though.
Would you stop it? You're like
I'm
sorry, Joe. It exists.
You mean you mean the
this
other
is an
film
extreme example. You're like a Holocaust scenario. That's who you are right now.
A Holocaust
you're
one?
a flat earther.
A flat earther? No. The 5th one never happened.
Apologies to any of our Jewish viewers. That's
the size of his head.
No, it didn't happen. They just decided Bruce Willis wouldn't do it, so they got Jared Butler to do it in the White House, and it's grand.
They're making another one, aren't they? What? Die Hard, I think.
Yeah, they are. They're fully. Yeah, actually, I only
it's
saw
in
that
a
last
retirement
week.
home.
Jesus Christ.
Well, look at it this way.
4,
4 was the way of going into the modern,
Bruce Willis'
the last double trilogy thing.
Adventure to the breakfast buffet.
Well, see, technically they have done the last one. It's just called Red.
Red is fantastic.
Retired and Extremely Dangerous. What a fucking amazing movie. Red
film.
2,
is it actually?
Terrible sequel.
Yeah, the second one didn't live up.
What else?
Funny fact about Red.
Yeah.
I sat here for half an hour watching Red, convinced I'd never seen it before, and Jess is like, "We saw this in the cinema."
Yeah.
And then half hour, 40 minutes in, I was like, "Oh, I have seen this."
And there you are, Retired and Extremely Dangerous.
I really like
Bullets in the fry pan.
I like Red. Red is actually very good.
Yeah.
Great.
Is it Helen Mirren, Bruce Willis, and
John Malkovich?
Yep.
John Malkovich.
John Malkovich is amazing.
And John Malkovich.
He's amazing in everything.
Your man that does the voice for the
Morgan Freeman.
Fantastic.
Jaws Revenge, worst ever.
Yeah.
Jaws
I can't
has
remember
like 400 sequels, doesn't it?
Yeah, about that.
They're all shit.
No way. How many Jaws films is there?
Oh, too
like
many.
5?
There's 5 or
No,
something.
there's not.
Oh, yes, there is.
There's only 2 and 3.
No. There's 4. There's
They're
definitely.
like
I'd say
Sharknado.
there's about 5, I think.
Oh man, the trailer for the final Sharknado looks ridiculous.
They are all the best sequels ever.
Sharknado.
Ken, come on now.
Is terrible.
Be real.
If you want to hear my opinion on Sharknado, you should listen to the Sharknado episode.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Sharknado was.
That's one of my favourite things
It's a terribly
we've done.
bad film. Sequels. It
half of
has
that's
3
true.
sequels.
Yeah, so 4 anyway, at least.
Jaws 2, Jaws 3D,
Jaws the
and
Revenge.
Jaws the Revenge.
I have another controversial opinion for you before we move on to the comments, if that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, of course.
Hit us with the controversial.
Indiana Jones,
Controversial.
Don't you?
Indiana Jones,
sorry.
Temple of Doom, and Last Crusade, I think, are better than the first one.
What's the Temple of Doom?
Last Crusade is, but
Come on now.
Temple of Doom is definitely the worst of the trilogy.
That's not true.
It's 100% true.
No, I think it's
Temple
better
of
than
Doom
Raiders.
You like Temple of Doom?
The film I've seen least of the 3.
I love that movie.
If I'm going compared to Crystal Skull,
I've heard Crystal Skull
that
is-
film exists.
I've heard Crystal Skull is great until the visitors show up.
Yes.
until the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Crystal Skull is good
Great.
if you just turn it off before as
Yeah.
soon as they get
I haven't watched it yet. I will,
Yeah.
but
I will
As soon as he holds up the skull, turn the movie off.
No. Skip the bit to where fucking Shia LaBeouf tries to pick up the hat and Harrison Ford grabs it off him and goes, "Not yet, son," and puts the hat back on.
Beautiful. It's the best part of it.
Yeah, because basically Shia LaBeouf is a piece of shit.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, Shia the Scruff.
Him and his bleeding fucking dancing.
Yeah, Shia the Scruff. He is a human fart.
That's harsh. He's had some good films.
I don't care. He's a piece of shit. I really hate that guy.
Why?
Hold on. Speaking
He's
of him with good
insufferable.
films, who's a good or a bad sequel to the Transformers?
They're all shit.
What do you mean?
They're all shit. I seen the first one.
Off me.
First one's good.
First one's shite. First one's shite. Didn't watch the rest because the first one was shite.
The first one is a great film.
No, it's not. It's not. Thank you, Mick.
Hold on.
Let's shake on that one. Oh.
That was the most awkward. I have that on video. I'm so glad of that. That was an awful handshake.
What have we learned? It's
how not to handshake.
Yeah. Listen, we'll work on the handshake later. At least we're agreeing on one thing.
I really like the first one.
I've bought it. I was like, I paid 20 quid for this. Muck.
I want to see it in the cinema.
The better ones are where they rebooted but continued on the story in a sense. They got rid of Shia LaBeouf.
Well, that's a good start.
And got Marky Mark in.
Oh yeah. Are the Funky Bunch in it?
That's the arc of the new Transformers.
Oh,
There's
massive.
a Funky Bunch.
They all have a dance off, Transformers and the Funky Bunch.
Those I just hate the new design of the like obviously they modernized it, but and I think it's probably my dislike for the Michael Bay style action sequences.
Oh, he's a cunt anyway.
Because it's literally just explosions and camera cuts, and you can't tell what's going on at all.
Very fast movie type stuff.
When I watched Transformers,
that does annoy me, I will admit.
When I watched Transformers, I was like, "Wow, Trey Parker and Matt Stone are right. He is a piece of shit." That's part of the reason. Part of the reason that Team America is. Part of the reason that Team America is. Sorry, to go grab. Like part of the reason Team America is the way it is to make fun of Michael Bay.
Seriously?
Yeah, the whole thing is like we're just making fun of Michael Bay because he's a dick.
He likes explosions, all right.
Yeah,
he does like explosions.
I think I used to think that I liked Michael Bay till I came to my senses.
Yeah, that was it.
Or maybe it was early Michael Bay was alright because Bad Boys is not a bad film.
Bad Boys is a fantastic film.
Bad Boys 2, good or bad sequel?
Better than the original.
I
for me.
enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it was maybe 20 minutes to a half an hour too long.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourite scenes of a film ever.
Big fucking ass, but a nice fucking fish.
Your man, the young kid, calls to the door to take the daughter out. Who the hell is Jimmy? Oh my god!
Should we have some comments?
You ever make love to a man?
Do you want to?
Sure, we'll go.
Before you end up starting to make love over there.
Yeah.
All right, so Dave Cullen comes in. Godfather 2, hands down.
Never seen it.
I have never seen The Godfather.
I watched it out of
I've seen the first one and it was quite boring, so I didn't watch the second or third.
It's widely known that the first one or the second one is supposed to be unreal.
I know, I've heard that.
Yeah. As I said, I think I mentioned on this podcast before, I watched it out of order.
Oh, you did say that,
because I watched a stupid cut of the film that was cut chronologically rather than the order the films were.
Oh.
So I was the first scene in the chronological version is Vito's father's funeral in Sicily, which is like a scene that's an hour into the second film.
Spoilers.
Yeah, that's really silly. What else we got?
Of course, The Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people mention this. It's true. Batman Begins is a fucking great film.
Yeah.
But The Dark Knight is probably one of the greatest comic films.
Talking about disappointing sequels, Dark Knight Rises.
Correct.
Shit sequel.
Yep.
I would say shit. Disappointing.
He should not have Rose.
Yeah. He should have what, sorry?
He should not have Rose.
No.
Not at all.
What are you talking about?
Fuck.
I do like Tom Hardy.
There's also the argument on it is...
I will get you, Batman.
They did their best with what they could from the death of Heath Ledger.
I'll break your back. And leave you in this pit for several hours of the movie.
He has a lovely voice.
Really, there was a massive flashback for what felt like about 4 years, and then you go back, it cuts. He's still back in the pit. I was like, oh my god, is this cunt still in the fucking pit?
Yeah.
I forgot that was part of the story. I thought that was done with.
Yeah, I thought he was dead by now. Can we go home, please?
His back is still... Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Get over it. Jesus, take some fucking pills or something.
Where's my doctor? My spine is in bits.
say, get me a chiropractor.
Get me a chiropractor. Sorry, I don't know what you're saying. Do you ever see that piss take?
Alfred, give me your cup.
Sorry, sir. I can't understand the bloody word you're saying.
Where's my painkillers?
Take off the bloody mask. You're only supposed to take the bloody mask off. You've done your back in.
That's fantastic.
You bloody idiot.
The size of a tangerine.
It's like he's got a boil on his back the size of a tangerine.
Okay, we'll move on. He also
Can we not move on? 'Cause this is great.
Didn't they replace him with the bad guy from Die Hard with a Vengeance in the new Ben Affleck Batman films? Does he play Alfred?
Jeremy Irons.
Yeah,
Jeremy Irons is the new Alfred, yeah. Which is not convincing. That man's played way more villains than he has good.
I want to see
guys.
Jeremy Irons. I want to see Jeremy Irons try and do a Michael Caine impression.
Jeremy, if you're watching, indulge us.
Oh,
will you?
yeah.
Cheers, ears.
Oh, okay, so we've mentioned The Empire Strikes Back, but Toy Story 2. Ooh.
Toy Story 3 is even better than Toy Story 2.
I've not seen Toy Story 3.
We need to, yeah, I know you're saying this the other week. We need to
fix that.
Yeah,
I
mean,
glad you said 3 after that, because if you just had to finish that at Toy Story, like, there would have been war.
I know. Every kid my age has seen Toy Story.
Yeah,
Every
absolutely.
kid you're in. Wait, what?
You know what he means. Come on, give the guy a break.
Everyone,
You're like
everyone my
40
age. Yeah, fuck off, Ken.
You're like 42 hours older than me or something. Yeah.
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2 was not as good as Deadpool 1. In fact, I found Deadpool 2 a bit
still
disappointing.
a great sequel.
I was a bit disappointed.
I thought the story was better, but the comedy was worse.
Yeah, like there's
I don't know. There's some really funny parts in that film.
Did you remember there's a part? Make you mind spoilers?
As long as you, it's weird. I know the film's been out for 2.5 years and I haven't watched it yet, but I do actually want to watch
the first one.
No, I do want to watch Logan, so I know that's spoiled in Deadpool 2.
Okay,
which is
30
why
seconds.
I haven't
Yeah.
watched
In
Deadpool
the
2.
first like 30 seconds,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's more for me the lines. He got away with way more than he could in the first one.
Yeah.
There's a great moment where it's like
the dead not dead scene goes on too long. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, that does.
On
a second watching the death
on a first
thing.
watching the dead
Scene.
not dead scene near the end.
Yeah.
Goes on for about fucking 15 minutes, and you're just like, oh come on, like this is vaguely amusing at the start.
I'm
like
not even
5
going to
minutes
say
ago.
anything for
Why are you
spoiler
late?
reasons.
Yeah.
Why are you late, Red?
Yeah.
keep going.
I got into a battle with a Caped Crusader whose mother's name also turned out to be Martha.
That I liked.
It's one of the
Yeah.
cleverest lines I've ever
And
heard.
I haven't even seen Batman vs Superman, but I just know that's a
Yeah.
big thing in the movie, so that
Yeah,
made me
it's
laugh.
beautiful.
All right, next is
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Not as good as the first one,
Not
but
as
it's still
good as the
good.
first one, but a good sequel.
Well,
liked it.
if we're sticking to the Marvel, because I mentioned Infinity War, what about like Ragnarok?
Best Marvel film
Yeah,
Ooh,
fucking
out of
great.
all of them.
Ragnarok?
That or Ant-Man, yeah.
Ragnarok.
Since
so good.
Iron Man 1 upwards, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Punisher before that.
Actually,
Oh my god, the
The
hammer pulled you off.
old
Oh,
Punisher
yeah.
with
The-
Kevin fucking Nash.
Yeah.
What else have we got there?
Scream 2.
Can't remember it.
It's the one in college with the rules of a trilogy.
No,
It's the one with
It's a good
Lee
one.
Schreiber.
It's actually a good one, yeah. Lee
they're
Schreiber.
all terrible.
Oh, I just decided my Halloween film, Scream.
Oh.
I'd forgotten
You've
that.
seen it before.
Hey.
I don't care, I'm doing it.
Fuck you.
Why?
'Cause it is
Despise them
Halloween.
movies.
Oh.
Do you?
Do
Oh,
you?
I hate them.
Why?
1 and 2 are great.
For
I
like,
thought-
honestly, Ken, for years and years, the only horror film I actually liked was Scream. That was
Hello,
it.
Sydney.
I love that film. How can you not like that film? That's crazy.
I think what it can be, and this is what I would think, is that looking back on them now, it's hard to say how revolutionary they were because so many things have aped off Scream since.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, probably. It'd be
But-
that's another reason I'd want to watch it as well.
Isn't
to
it
just see how-
melted Michael Myers mask? Wasn't that the premise
The
behind it? The
Ghostface?
actual- Yeah.
No, it's
That's
explained.
it's the Scream, isn't it? The Albert Munch thing.
Yeah, it's based on the
sorry.
painting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm thinking
You
of
might be
something
thinking
else.
Michael Myers was like an inside-out William Shatner mask.
Was it not Spock?
Yeah.
By the
was
way,
it not
I
a
thought- no, I
melted
think it was-
Spock mask or something?
I think it
It's-
was.
Oh, was
I think it
don't
was
know.
William Shatner.
I highly recommend the TV series. It's fucking deadly.
I've heard that, I think,
Scream.
yeah.
What,
series
the
is-
Spock series?
The Scream. There's only 2 seasons.
It's called Star Trek, bro.
Unreal. Unreal.
But
I
it's
loved
long
it.
and prosper.
What was I going to say?
Keep
yeah,
going
and
with the first comment.
sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
you got
It'd
a
be
lot.
worth watching Wes Craven's New Nightmare as well, because that serves as a precursor
Shit,
for
yeah,
Scream.
I haven't seen that.
Oh yeah.
As far as I know, like that's like, and you know, you can see. It's
When
like,
did
oh
you
yeah,
choose that
that's-
as your film?
I watched it already last year. I don't know. I don't know. I just
we'll
I'd
decide on that later.
because we did a Nightmare Before or Nightmare on Elm Street last year.
Naked
so,
Gun 2. That's the one with the Queen, wasn't it?
No, Queen's the first one.
What's the second one's storyline again?
It's the second of the Naked Gun trilogy.
Oh, can't remember.
For me, it's always the forgotten one as well. The first one is the baseball.
Oh yeah.
No, sorry. The first one. Yeah, the first one's baseball. The second one is the Queen, and then the third one is the guy in the wheelchair.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember O.J. Simpson getting knocked down?
All three of them are pretty good anyway.
First one's
I don't remember
class
them being bad.
film. I don't remember. I think the third one is pretty bad.
I remember enjoying it, but do you remember O.J. Simpson, like all the accidents and stuff, the physical comedy kept happening to him in it?
Yeah, he gets stuck under the bus and it goes across country. And
what the hell's he doing in Detroit? We'll send him a bus ticket and a new pair of pants.
Do you
remember
one of those weird things now? It's like, ooh, O.J. Simpson.
Speaking of O.J.,
he did that shit.
Do you remember like the last?
No, if he had done it, that's how he would have.
Yeah, no. Do you remember? Do you remember the last of the? Do you remember the last of the Dave Chappelle specials? And he's talking about the whole American footballers taking the knee during the national anthem.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this until I had to look it up. For some reason hadn't heard about this. But just in case anyone doesn't know, American footballers have been taking the knee during the national anthem in protests against police brutality against the black community. But he was saying like. It's like, oh, who knew that white people's one weakness was taking a knee during the fucking national anthem? It's like, can you imagine? I know how to kill like all white people at once. Just get O.J. Simpson in the middle of the football field. Imagine with them bad knees. Like, what? O.J. Simpson in the field. What's he doing? No. Going to take the knee. Oh, it's so fucking funny. Right. Anyway, sorry. On with the
Wayne's
first
World
comment.
2. Wayne's World 2. Yes,
that's a great sequel. Yeah,
fucking great film.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
Blasphemer.
It's very good.
I prefer the first one.
So do I, but it's still a really good sequel.
I think it has not on the same scale as Airplane 2, but it has the same. No.
It's nowhere near
I'm saying it has a lot of the same problems in that it reuses a lot of jokes.
Yeah, sure it does. It does, yeah. No, I agree with you. It does, but it's still really good though.
Well, that's your opinion.
I think it's really
it's
good.
wrong.
We did forget one.
I don't mind Wayne's World 2. What?
Yeah.
Sean Scanlon. Terminator 2.
Judgment Day.
That is 100% better than the original.
Yeah, but then Genesis ruined it all as the worst sequel ever.
Genesis ruined it all.
What did Phil Collins have to do with this? I don't understand. I can't dance.
Terminator 2 is one of those films that the original, it's completely different to the original. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like if you watch them in one after the other, it's really
like
difficult to see how
Terminator
did that
1
come
is like a gritty sci-fi.
It's almost like a trial
thriller.
run. It's almost like a trial run for the second one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the second one is a
much like Evil Dead.
balls out action film.
Yeah, true.
So they have a different feel, and I think the first one holds up better.
I disagree.
There
I think I disagree.
is 5 or 10 minutes at the end where they tried to use a CGI Terminator that looked shit.
Yeah, good God.
Where it was just all robot, all steel, walking through the fire.
That's the
Yeah.
petrol truck
like it was
blows
actually
up.
doing like
isn't
a
I
it?
robot
preferred
dance.
when they used the puppet,
It is a robot.
even if it looked like it was banging on the door really weird. It holds up a lot better than the obviously CGI walking around the factory.
Yeah,
thing.
so we've talked about this before, like the use of practical effects versus CGI.
Yes.
So yeah,
I have. If you would like to see that.
then go back about 2 years and you'll find that whole discussion.
Jeez, we've been doing this
We'll
that
keep
long.
on going. Let's see.
Yeah.
Daryl says Halloween 2. I'll be honest, I can't decipher which Halloween is which ever.
They're all in a big mush at this
There's
point.
a
Probably.
There are 2 Halloween 2s.
What?
There is the direct sequel to the 70s film
Yeah.
and the Rob Zombie directed sequel to the rebooted Halloween film a few years ago.
Sweet mother of fuck.
Well, no, something worse.
That is awful.
There are 3 films in that series called Halloween.
You said this the other day,
1978, the 2000s reboot, and the upcoming sequel.
Shit. Yeah.
which is supposed to be deadly,
Which
by the
is
way.
a sequel to the original
sequel
series,
to
right?
the original film.
Would
Yeah.
they not have just like done like an Aliens job and just called it Alien and Aliens?
Halloween and Halloweens.
I have to say, that is one of the
Halloweens.
cleverest
Halloweens.
things I have ever seen in movies, like naming your film. It's like Alien, Aliens. That's fucking genius.
Greatest sequel as well, actually, by the way. Sorry.
Never seen it.
Aliens.
Fair the first
Fucking great.
over the second.
I
You're
would
wrong.
It
compare.
lost its spark.
You're
Shot-
wrong.
I would compare the difference between Alien and Aliens to the difference between Terminator and Terminator 2. I think it's a comparable thing where both of those first films are kind of gritty sci-fi, this could really happen type films.
Yeah.
The second ones are kind of both
we got an extra few
action
quid.
films. Yeah.
Let's do this.
Both directed by James Cameron.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Although James Cameron did the first Terminator as well.
Oh, but
Ridley Scott did the first Alien, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Stephen Alty says Rocky 2.
Electric Boogaloo?
I don't. Again, Rocky's one of those ones that I'm like.
They kind of all blend together.
What was the second? Who did he fight in the second one?
Apollo Creed again.
Oh,
that's the one where he beat
second?
Apollo Creed.
Was the third one the Russian?
No, the third one was Clubber Lang. I pity the fool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was the fourth
one the
Russian?
was the
Fourth was the Russian, yeah.
Holy
Fifth
fuck.
one was his dad or something. I think they just lost the plot
Rocky.
at that
The
stage.
fifth one was
I made
like
that up. It was
Rocky
something
one.
ridiculous though.
The fifth one was
Rocky
a kid
2?
he was training. I think it was like Tommy
Wasn't that
the
just called-
Machine Gun.
Wasn't that just, was that not Creed?
No, Creed was...
Creed. It was...
So there was Rocky
Well, the fight
to
is going
Rocky
through,
5.
you know?
Yeah.
Then there was Rocky, the reboot, where he's old and he fights the
That was
current
good.
guy.
Oh,
That was very good.
yeah.
And
I'm
then
really
there was,
old. I'm a fight guy, you know?
and then there was Creed, which was the sequel,
Isn't
or
that-
which was the
He trains
standalone.
Apollo Creed's son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm
they're
going to train
making
your son, you know? You
Creed
did.
2 now.
Yes. Creed is very good.
I watched Creed on the flight over to Vegas.
Yeah.
Rocky 2 plus Rocky 5. Is
Adrian's
Rocky
Revenge.
Rocky 7. Adrian's Revenge. Sarah Lee says Deadpool 2, which we mentioned, and Pirates of the Caribbean. Do you mean like
one?
It just says Pirates, so I'm going to imagine Dead Man's Chest.
The second one?
The second one isn't. It's a good.
Second-
I'll admit the second one is a great sequel.
I really liked it at the
better
time,
than
yeah.
first.
Oh God, no! Black Pearl is perfect.
Yeah.
it's a
Yes.
perfect,
Fucking
good
great
film.
movie.
Yes.
I would argue
and the
that
third one is god awful.
you can plot the how good those films are on a graph that starts out up here and goes down this way.
100% accurate.
It's just one
Yeah.
line. It doesn't even bubble
Yeah,
at any
exactly.
point. It's
Just
just
straight down.
Yeah, straight down.
Yeah.
It's like the hill on the Phoenix Park, just to its death.
Just picture Ralph Wiggum just like tumbling down the
Yeah.
hill. That's Pirates
I'm
right there.
danger.
The only, like, the best thing apart from what was the first one, the only thing I enjoyed in the rest of the Pirates of the Caribbean was him on the beach with the crabs in the ship.
That was quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
He got crabs during
That
it?
was
He
at
fucked
the-
Keira Knightley or something?
That was at World's End.
Oh, yeah.
Was
Yes.
it? At World's End?
At Bell End,
yeah, I think it was.
That's
Bellend, that's
not
the
great.
porn version.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
the only thing. And then, like, the CGI on what's his name's hair, where it was like he was underwater when
Nye,
he was
yeah.
on land. That fucking great work.
Still haven't seen the new one. And I'm not really looking forward.
I don't care anymore.
Ugh. Anyway.
Nobody does, really.
Chris says Mr. Bean.
I haven't seen any
Wait,
of those
which
films.
Chris?
Christian Ramada.
The one that I work? No, Chris.
No.
If he means, Chris, I swear to God, if you mean that Mr. Bean filmed the second one, Mr. Bean's Holiday,
Is that the one where he
can I
becomes like
erase
an
your
art?
comment?
Is that the one where he works in the art gallery?
No, that's the first one.
Oh, okay.
The second one's The Holiday, and it's god
He
awful.
better have meant that as the worst.
Joe didn't
No,
know
he
that.
did
Oh,
said
you
best.
only asked for the best.
Yeah.
Chris.
Let's keep going. Let's keep
No,
going.
Christian.
Colin Bryan says Gremlins 2. Yes, fucking fantastic. Back to the Future 2.
It's so long since I've seen
and 3,
Gremlins.
we mentioned Back to the Futures.
Mhm.
Lord of the Rings, Two Towers and Return of the King.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking hell. Winter Soldier. Yes. Winter
Yeah.
Soldier is definitely a better sequel than, say...
The original or Captain America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I even like Winter Soldier better than Civil War. Like, Winter
Yeah.
Soldier is a
I
spy
disagree.
film. It's a spy
I heard
film.
somebody talking about Civil War the other day, and it was talking negatively about it. It's like they turned a civil war into a fight in a car park.
Well, an airport, but whatever.
Yeah, airport car park.
It'll
Yeah.
do.
Plane park.
Mick, he joins you with Ragnarok.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a fucking great film. Iron Man 3. Do
that's
you know
the
what?
one Marvel film I've not seen.
Iron Man 3?
Yeah,
Iron Man 3 is
You
one of
don't
those
need to.
ones that
I read it
gets
was
slated.
skippable.
Everyone says it's skippable, but you know what? Yeah, it doesn't get better with age.
Mhm.
Infinity War. Yeah, that's an Avengers sequel. It's it's a fucking fantastic film.
Oh, God.
And Gary Shackleton finishes off with Dark Knight, which we mentioned before.
Nothing on the live feed, is there?
Any on the live? Your dad says, how's she cutting there?
I've never seen
like
the movie.
a lawnmower or something. Yes.
A ride-on or a hand operated.
Right on.
No, don't get into fucking
See
Jesus Christ.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah, that's our
I think
common
that's it,
sense. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Man, there's some beautiful sequels in this world.
Yeah.
Also some not so
And
good.
some absolutely shite.
There's some absolute
It's
stinkers.
crazy on the scale of how good movies can get to how absolutely god-awful they can get. After, like, the money they've made from a first, and they're like, right, let's make a cool one, let's make it better. And it bombs.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Like, I know sometimes...
Isn't that the problem, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they make so much money on the first one, they're like,
Yeah.
we've got a franchise here.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Every film doesn't have to have a franchise.
Yeah.
Please just
It's funny,
stop
like,
making films.
You're watering down the original
With Back to
idea.
the Future,
That's the problem.
we're lucky that Back to the Future 2 and 3 are as good as they are, because apparently the studio said to Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, like, listen, we're going to make this with or without you, so... Then they were like, without you,
Oh my god.
we're going to make fucking sequel with or without you. And, luckily they, got their shit together and like, all right, well, if it's going to be made, we want to do it right. So,
Okay.
thank God they did.
Do it right.
Oh, for fuck's
Do it for me. Can I
Nicely
say a
done.
sentence that will not evolve into a song? Yep.
Good job.
I thought of one, but I wasn't singing.
Oh, okay. Oh, no.
That sounded awful.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that wasn't into the mic.
Does that wrap us up for
I
the
think it
question of the
does.
week?
I think it does.
Yeah.
So, what is the film we're doing next week, guys? I can't remember.
So I thought, we discussed kind of our schedule for the next couple of weeks, because we've kind of got to, for once, we've got it kind of planned out.
Yeah.
So next week we're going to watch Short Circuit, 1990s,
80s.
80s.
However, what year do you think it was done?
Was that in 88?
I'm going to say 88
Short
as well.
Circuit 88?
I'm pretty sure it was 1984.
Wow.
No, that's Police Academy. I'm going to say it's... I'm going to say 88.
Mitts off the 86.
86.
Split
I'm the
the
research
difference.
guy here.
There's no return from 86.
And Short Circuit 2,
So-
worst sequel ever.
Yes, it is. It is a fucking abomination.
Oh, it's got that guy in it.
Yeah.
The week after, we're going to do Dragnet.
Yep.
Great movie.
Ken hasn't seen
Ken's
it.
the
That's
biggest fan.
Ken hasn't
Yeah,
seen
he's
it.
quoting it to me.
He led me to believe that he had.
Over text message, so it was easily leadable.
Then
Yes.
we're going to have a 4-week block of Halloween films leading
Yeah.
us directly to the end of October. We're going to pick one each, which
I-
we haven't decided on yet, but
I have-
Aidan has given his away. So
Scream.
Aidan's is going to be Scream.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure what mine is, and I don't think you guys know
I don't. I
either.
need to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some ideas, so I'm going to do some research and pick something I want to watch that I haven't seen.
I probably should have done that, but fuck it. I want to watch Scream.
You're not
again. Fuck
locked
you
in.
guys.
You're not locked in at
Yeah.
the minute. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I reserve the right to change my mind, but I'm probably not going to.
Mhm.
So
Sorry, I'm just looking at pictures of Johnny Number 5 from Short Circuit here, and fuck me, I missed that movie. Can't wait to watch this again.
And
So good.
then
Ken's going to
when we're
flap off when he watches
yeah.
that, I think. Yeah.
When we're finished the
Same.
Halloween block, we will
Circle
go
jerk.
back to the films. We're going to watch Borat.
And then we have to watch
Well,
What's
Borat.
do you know what the full title is?
Borat, Cultural Learnings of America from Make Good Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan, I
Mhm.
think.
That sounds correct.
Whoa, what?
That's the actual
The full
title.
title.
There's
the
like a
full
Fall
The
Out
full
Boy
title
song.
is
Cultural Learnings of America for Make Glory. Or
no,
for
Cultural
Make-
Learnings of America from Make Good Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
I believe that's the full
It
title.
might be for Make Benefit.
Yeah.
Glorious
No,
Culture-
Nation.
yeah, that's it, yeah.
The Cultural Learnings of America for
Make Benefit
Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan.
I was right. Brilliant.
Or simply Borat. And then the
How
week
can you not be so excited? Look at that poster. How can you not be excited?
the week after that, we're going to go back to watching... We're going to watch a bad film. We haven't decided what that bad film is
Ooh,
yet.
yeah.
We have a list.
We do have
somewhere.
a list. I do. I
Wait,
think
we-
I still
we
have
are
the
doing
list
the
of bad
bad
films.
movie.
Do you know what?
Borat?
I'm going to blast it.
I was just about to say, before anyone says Borat is not a bad film, that does not count.
That's yet to be decided. It
Yeah,
has to
exactly.
go on the list.
true.
Exactly,
It
let's
has to
see.
go through the process.
I've seen
we
it
have
many
to-
times. It is an amazing
As the
film.
guys on Giant
yeah.
Bomb say, we have to do the science.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And I will blast out a thing for the worst films you've ever seen
Mhm.
to see what suggestions we can get.
Yeah.
I think I'll look at
I
them
still
all
think
and pick whatever's is
That
the
one we
worst
discussed
rated.
a few weeks ago before
Black
we
Shampoo?
did Black Shampoo.
Oh,
Still
yeah.
sounds
Did we
like a...
talk Black Shampoo?
What's wrong with your memory? You can
I
remember
don't
like
know.
quotes
I've
from
got Alzheimer's already.
you can remember quotes from films from like fucking 50 years ago.
It's a blaxploitation film about I believe hairdresser.
Yeah.
Don't read it. I don't know any spoilers. Don't.
Jesus fucking God. Are we really going to watch that?
Yes, we are.
I thought we were joking.
We don't know.
Why would we? No, we should watch that one.
Actually, a blaxploitation film. We should. Yeah.
But if we want to do that, I'd rather watch a good blaxploitation film to properly represent the genre than let's watch this probably
like
crap
Django.
film. The Django.
I do love that film.
So yeah, that's our plan for the next couple of weeks.
True. Yeah.
And that'll get us halfway into November, and then probably another few films, and we'll start the Christmas block.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Christmas block. And then we'll do our New Year's films.
Jingle balls. I was thinking, I don't know if you have, because I've been dying to fucking watch Short Circuit. I don't know if you have an idea for the question of the week.
For Short Circuit?
Just for next week?
Do you have one?
Not yet. Do you have one?
I was thinking of best or worst robots in movies if it hasn't been done.
I believe it has not been done.
Not been done.
Yeah.
No, I'm counting off 5 or 6 in my head already. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that.
Because it'll be in relation to the movie then.
Yeah.
Because Johnny Number 5 is like number 1 of the best robots ever in a movie.
Do robots who are also cops count?
What?
RoboCop.
As if it was
RoboCop, yeah.
Technically not a
humanoid,
robot.
isn't he?
Do we
like
count
a
in like
cyborg?
half human, half robots? We can keep going with this. Like,
do I count?
No, the Borg do not count either.
God damn it.
Sorry.
Yeah, so will I just roll off how you can...
Yeah, go on.
Go for it.
Okay, so you can contact us on Facebook. Just search for Preachin on Preacher. Twitter is @PreachinPod. Our email is preachinonpreacher@gmail.com. Nobody ever emails it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Twitter @PreachinPod. You can get this episode and the newer back episodes on Spotify, Mixcloud, iTunes, or wherever you want to put our RSS feed, which is available on preachinonpreacher.com. And you can also catch us on YouTube. Yeah, that's it.
Beautiful.
I think that was the quickest you've ever
Yeah,
slung that out.
it's just so
good.
it's so
It's
fucking
on the
boring. I
tongue
just
now.
want to get it out there. Like so. So I guess I'll see you guys next week then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's that wraps up another hopefully good episode.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Keep on. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Keep on preaching. It's been a while.